Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Well, and just like that, I got to turn my back on LeBron James. Oh, this is painful. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
And just like that, you mean the new Sex and the City reboot on HBO Max? Is that honestly? That's where LeBron is. He's sort of the Sex and the City version of the NBA right now,
or a rebooted version, not as good as the original.
30 years later, yeah.
Well, that's not what I meant. But good morning. It feels so good to be back. Pro, missed you guys.
Yeah.
We'll get into all the things that I did miss when I was away last week on vacation. But one of the biggest ones to me was people like me who have been LeBronites, LeBron stans, who have really, carried the water and the torch at times for LeBron because of his talent. And thought, okay, all the passive-aggressive moves he's made throughout his career and all of the me first stuff and the finagling to get Bronny drafted and get his coach, J.J. Redick, his guy in place, all these things that you could just overlook because LeBron's so talented, because the resume is so damn impressive, all those things, right? And I think I finally found my breaking point. And it was after LeBron opted into his player, his last year of his deal here with the Lakers for almost like $55 million, or almost $60 million, excuse me.
I think it was 52.5.
It was almost 55, $53 million. And immediately after opting in and basically saying, I'm going to give you a commitment in a year after a Luka Doncic trade fell out of the sky for you, now I'm doing I'm monitoring the offseason to see if I like how things are going. Like, give me a break now. The passive-aggressive stuff, Perloff, to me, it doesn't have any teeth anymore. It's all theater. There's really not a place for LeBron to go, number one, if he really is trying to get to this air quote contender, this piece, this team that's one piece away. Well, you had the chance to go to Golden State a year ago, right. And he decided not to do that, right? Because of Bronny getting drafted and because he wanted to stay in L.A. or doesn't want to play with Steph Curry. Who knows what the reasons are? Mm-hmm. But he didn't want to go to the Warriors. That was going to be your tailor-made, here's the end of your career where you maybe can rip off another title. Then here comes Luka out of the blue sky. I mean, this is still one of the most shocking trades we've had in professional sports. Luka's in L.A., and now LeBron is still unhappy, still unsatisfied, still looking around. I mean, I can't do it anymore. I just, as a LeBron fan, this part of it felt a bridge too far because there's just nothing there. There's nothing there.
I have so many issues with everything you just said.
Okay.
What do you mean? First of all, the fact that you call yourself a LeBron stan, like, I think you're referring to the Jordan LeBron debate.
Yeah.
That's like saying, I'm here as a Patrick Mahomes stan. Yeah, no duh. He's LeBron James because of his talent. I feel like you're talking about a player that there's a polarizing take on whether he's good or not. There's only a polarizing take. Is he the first or second best player of all time? Not I'm a LeBron fan because of the talent. I just think that there's this weird sensitivity around LeBron that makes no sense. Of course, everyone, even Jordan fans, which is everybody, thinks he's the second best player or first best player of all time. So there's no stand over the passive aggressive stuff. I feel like what you're doing is you're getting off. The end might be ugly, and you want off the train now. I don't think you can do that. I think you stuck with him through all these shenanigans off the court.
You
can't
Mr.
get off
bandwagon.
now.
I can jump off whenever I want. No, I it's not that. It's not like the Jordan thing is one part of it. But LeBron has become this polarizing person because people are sick of him, right?
Off the court. On the court, nobody has a massive problem with him.
Okay, but here's the thing. Where is your delineation between on the court and off the court? Because doing the Insufferable podcast, which is all about basketball. The ring chasing.
No, well, that's not even polarizing. Nobody likes that except for Steve Nash's mom in Vancouver. I mean, come on.
But again, some of it's not just, I'm not even talking about the political stuff because it seems like he's kind of dipped away from that.
I mean, I think
there's the basketball part of it that is annoying to people because it seems like, whether it's, talking down to casuals, whether it's like, I know I can run this team. La GM. I mean, not all of it is just this off the field, on the field delineation that you're seeing, this black and white. A lot of it is basketball adjacent. A lot of it is basketball stuff. I mean, who's the reason why Russell Westbrook was ever in a Lakers uniform? It wasn't Rob Pelinka. It was LeBron who hosted Russell Westbrook at his home during that fateful time, and then they pulled off the draft day trade. He's been shadow running the Lakers along with Chris Paul for a long time, and all Laker fans out there know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think this was a moment where this, him saying I'm monitoring the events, like, you in what army? Like, there's nothing more you can do. You just opted in. And now to say, like, well, I'm keeping an eye on things because I might be leaving for Cleveland? Like, you're not. You're not. We know you're not. And so these things don't have as much teeth anymore. He was in
Cleveland. He was working out in Cleveland, Maggie. I saw the Instagram post.
I know. I saw it too. And
he claimed we were bored by making any assumptions out.
Yeah.
All right, first of all.
It's us.
You're back from vacation. You're shot out of a cannon. You're claiming LeBron James and Chris Paul are running the Lakers. That's your first problem.
Did I say Chris Paul?
Yeah.
I meant Russell
Westbrook. It was a Germans
sorry.
bomb Pearl Harbor moment.
I'm sorry. I meant to say Russell Westbrook.
No, you meant Rich Paul.
No, I meant Rich Paul. Rich Paul and LeBron.
See, LeBron has got even LeBron stands and their feelings. Like, LeBron, why did you do this to Maggie? Why could you just gracefully bow out?
Chris Paul, Rich Paul.
The bottom line, though, I think the real issue with LeBron is that, and it goes back to 2010, that he had to join other superstars to win a title where Michael Jordan didn't. And we all know that is why LeBron, one of the reasons LeBron will never, ever pass Michael Jordan. So I think that now you realize, now you don't like it, but when he used to do it, it was fine. So he left the sinking ship of Miami, which is clearly sinking, and said, I'm going back home. And they happen to have a really young, talented roster in a horrible conference that I'm going to get to the finals every year.
Right.
So LeBron is just pulling he wants to get East because he knows it's a far, far inferior conference, which makes sense.
Okay, but this is the problem with it. If you want to leave Cleveland, which was the most unpopular thing of all time, the decision.
2010, the first time, yeah.
And then you want to leave Miami. I don't know if anyone outside of South Florida really had a problem with that. The going back to Cleveland part, I think, felt like this kind of nice closing of a circle, and then you win for the city of Cleveland. Who's gonna be mad at that?
We didn't know it was about cookies. Pat Riley took his cookies away.
Yeah, and that's weirdly not a euphemism for anything.
No.
We were literally talking about baked goods. But anyway.
No, you're right. There was no problem. No one ever had a problem with that. It made sense.
Yeah, he went back to Cleveland. He wins for Cleveland.
Cleveland! This is for you!
And everyone's on board. And I actually didn't have a problem with him going to L.A. None of that. The problem I have now is that you can't get the coach you want, get your son drafted, opt into that year. You can't opt into this upcoming season when you have Luka Doncic now as your running mate and say, you know what, but I'm still monitoring the situation because I'm not sure if the Lakers are the right fit for me. I mean, please. And this is the other part of it that I didn't like. You're going to really still have your proxy doing all this stuff?
Which one?
Rich Paul, who I just called Chris Paul 2 minutes ago because I've been on vacation for a week.
He's his agent. Why wouldn't he do that? That I don't understand. But what's wrong with, why would LeBron say it? Shouldn't the agent say it?
It's LeBron talking in this Shams Charania article. Why do you need, if you want to put out there that you're monitoring the situation, you put it out there. There's some people who need agents to speak for them. LeBron James, not one of them. And so I don't understand why in year 23 of your NBA career, and this is a little further down on my list of gripes, but in year 23 of your NBA career, when you are either the first best or the second best player who's ever played, depending on what vantage point you're looking at, why do you need Rich Paul to do the bidding? Why do you need the veiled shots? Like, just say what you're saying. Go to the Lakers or go to the media. Go to both. Go to the new owner of the Lakers, by the way, who might have a say in all of this stuff now. I don't love it because, again, I think it's just theater, and it's the part of the LeBron fandom that has nothing to do with Michael Jordan, that just has to do with being a fan of his and wanting the end of the career to mean something. But if you're going to leave, just leave. If you're going to go to Cleveland or you're going to look for sunnier pastures, which, by the way, I don't know if there are any. You just got Luka, who's apparently in dynamite shape now. Like, what did the Lakers do wrong here that all of a sudden you're getting passive-aggressive on it? Like, what's their misstep?
The Lakers, by all reports, they have a new owner. They're clearing cap space for 2027, right? They wanted LeBron to opt in, so he didn't have to sign a 2 or 3 year deal. Like the Lakers are clear, have moved on, and that was all the reporting that the Lakers have moved on. They're looking towards the future. So LeBron's like, well, if you're going to do that, then I don't want any part of this. So he pressured them to make a move for at least a center, at least one.
Well,
move.
they had to do that anyway. But here's
But
my
I
thing
don't know
about
if they were
for
gonna
the
do that
future.
anyway.
Luka's in the prime right now. Of course, they're going to be a contending team. But right now, you have a top 5 player in the league.
Oh, God,
Pearl.
man, I do not see them as a contending team.
Yeah, see, maybe this is where you and I differ.
You think that this team is getting out of the West and then winning the finals with Luka and LeBron?
I just watched Luka do it with a Mavs team 2 years ago.
That team wasn't, and again, that team was not that close. I mean, they got whooped.
Okay, but they were there. And
They made the finals because of their, I mean, like, listen, the matchups have to fall out perfectly for Luka to get to that finals. Like that team, I think the Mavericks were like, wow, we're not really that close. I don't think Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves is getting out of this year's West.
Well,
I mean, maybe because LeBron's older, like a diminished LeBron. So, yeah, I get LeBron wants to go to Cleveland or New York or something like that. What wouldn't you? Put yourself in LeBron's shoes. Would you want to sort of have this season where maybe you have a puncher's chance in the West, or you'd be immediately the favorite in the East?
Well, then go. Then don't opt into this final year of the deal and become like an actual, I don't know if it had been like a legit free agent, but put yourself out there in a way that's actually realistic. That's why he's been in LA so long. It's like we don't know the difference between reality and what is a movie set or what is some kind of TV show. Because this is not reality. This is not about actual building of a team and sports and all of the things that make you competitive. This is about just getting yourself out there. Like, maybe I'm upset. Maybe I'm disgruntled. Like the third storyline on some bad reality TV show. It's not real. And so that's why I'm shot out of a cannon today, because I'm just over it. And I'm curious if other people are feeling the same way.
Well, one thing, by the way, I don't know for sure that they make the DeAndre Ayton move if LeBron doesn't gripe. Because that move, and by the way, I don't think that move is going to work great either.
Well, but they didn't have to pay a lot. So that's a very low stakes move. He's no longer going to be, they're not paying the max contract that he had in Portland. So it's going to be on a totally different scale. A guy making $8 million a year is not judged the same way as a guy who's making $48 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about the Lakers. Like, what are we doing here? Luke, I just don't love the LeBron-Luka fit from day one. They're so similar. They, what do they both want to do? Handle the ball right around the three-point line. They're both 6'6" and above. It's just that I don't like this team personally. Like, I don't even really want to watch them play that much. Maybe they shock us and have a run. That'd be cool, but I just don't see it. Like, the West is so exciting right now, and the Lakers are a total afterthought. As a fan, I would rather LeBron go to Cleveland or New York. That'd be interesting. This is something unbelievably not interesting about this Lakers team.
Well, Manny, as a New York fan, does not want him.
I'm good. I'm not sacrificing a window for just a year of LeBron, a year and a half of LeBron. I'm good.
No,
this ain't 2011.
Yeah, that ship sailed, I think, on the New York side of things, although this is one of his former coaches now who is taking over the New York Knicks and Mike Brown.
What if you didn't have to give up much to get him? Then, like you said, sacrificing a window.
I mean, contractually, it's just we're going to have to give up a lot. I can't.
1 year. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. You have to go to match.
He's not the finishing piece anymore. And by the way, I think the idea of finishing pieces may be getting a little overrated in the NBA in general. Just ask the Phoenix Suns how finishing pieces work out for
Bradley
them.
Beal.
Well, or Durant, and they have to basically get rid of both of them. So I didn't love this from LeBron, and I'm curious from the Laker fans because, as I like to say, the sun never sets on the Lakers empire. There's fans from coast to coast all around the world who love the Lakers and live and die with the Lakers. And I'm curious if you've turned the page from LeBron to Luka and if you found this pretty distasteful. And this isn't just looking for a reason to criticize him. Like some people, like hot takers out there, the Skip Baylesses of the world, have made lots of money and made a lot and caused a lot of attention just by ripping on LeBron for the sake of it. This is not it. I'm a fan of his. I have not ripped his moves before. This one didn't sit well with me.
Well, it's the same movie he's made 100 times before.
But
why did those sit well with you?
Because those actually had some real gravity behind it. When you actually move teams, odds change, narratives change. People get hired and fired. Like, this is not that move to me. He's not that guy right now.
But if you got into Cleveland, I think Cleveland's a strong favorite in the East. Don't you?
Well, Cleveland's going to be the strong favorite in the East anyway because everyone's hurt in the East. Jason Tatum's got an Achilles. Tyrese Halliburton's got an Achilles. The Knicks, we don't know what's going on with a new coaching search. Of course, the Cavs were the number 1 seed in that conference. Adding LeBron just makes them more of the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I think the Cavs, I mean, that team hasn't done anything in the postseason. I think every single one of those guys, except Donovan Mitchell, has come up small in the postseason. So I would rather the Cavs with LeBron, personally. I mean, I think that'd be a huge, huge upgrade for them. If they could get rid of some of their overweight, get rid of some of their bad contracts, kind of like the KD trade. Houston was able to dish some bad contracts to get KD. And if Cleveland could get rid of some of these overpaid guys to bring in LeBron, I would do that in a second. The East is so wide open, and the Cavs, I'm telling you, as constituted, they will come up short in the postseason. You know why I know that? Because that's all they do, right? They haven't even looked good once. I think the Pacers, without Tyrese Halliburton, could beat the Cavs. But anyway, I think you're just trying to get off the ship as it's going down.
I mean, just stay with the Lakers and play with Luka, and none of this would even be an issue. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Are you rooting for LeBron to win one last title? He's not gonna catch Jordan. That's over. So are you rooting for him to go out on top? 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. And for the Laker fans, I mean, there couldn't have been an eye roll bigger in life than the Rich Paul comments. His agent, not Chris Paul.
Who was that?
Rich Paul, his agent.
Oh, did you do Chris again?
No, I didn't. I won't make that
What
mistake
about Cliff
again.
Paul? What's Cliff Paul doing nowadays?
Hey, whatever happened to that?
By the way, it's like kind of same, like Chris Paul, Banana Boat. I mean, it feels like he's part of the LeBron family, and he's out there now.
Let's get Melo and D-Wade there.
He might go. Is Chris Paul the Lakers still alive? Last time I checked.
I think David Stern killed that. Or David Stern, excuse me.
No, I know, but he said he wants to stay near L.A. last night.
I did, yeah.
So
he could be on the Lakers. Why
he could
not?
definitely be on the
He
Lakers.
could be LeBron's agent, too.
Chris Paul?
Oh, yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Why not? Okay, 888-710-4ISN, Laker fans, let's go. Had to get that off my chest.
Do you know that
Feel better about
my
it.
mother's maiden name?
Chris Paul?
Paul.
Is she also LeBron's agent? Is she getting a cut?
No.
Carol?
Yeah, no. She could fit in with this Lakers team.
Her initials are also CP? How about that?
Yeah. She enjoys some good drama. I mean, that's the thing. The Lakers right now, the worst thing. I'll just say one thing: the crime the Lakers have. And LeBron, they're boring. They're actually a boring team.
They traded for Luka Doncic in the middle of the night. It's not boring.
I know, in general, the activity around them, but you actually look at that team on paper, it's like, does anyone want to watch that combination of players? They're actually boring. Like, Houston's exciting. San Antonio's exciting. The Thunder are a little boring. But generally, like, there's something about the Lakers. I think LeBron sensed this, and he always has to provide us with good drama. Like, this is just like, LeBron saying the Lakers is the most boring possible outcome of this entire mess.
Well, according to the chat, which is up and running right now, and apparently there are rankings now in the chat, which this is new, but Spencer's in the chat saying the Cleveland Guardians need LeBron more than the Cleveland Cadavers.
Oh.
Apparently that's what they're calling the Cavs these days.
Rip.
Oof. By the way, I actually was thinking about your mom this weekend.
Okay.
Which is a
Easy
weird
there.
thing for me to say. But I was thinking about Carol Perloff this weekend.
Okay. This isn't like a your mama joke.
No. This is a totally sincere thing. And can I tell you what the good outcome of this was?
Yeah.
Every time I see your mom, which is not nearly enough, by the way, but the last time I think I saw her, she was nice enough to give me a Philadelphia Eagles t-shirt.
Right.
Which was a really nice thing to do and kind of funny because obviously I'm not an Eagles fan, but I think she's trying to recruit me to become an Eagles fan. Yeah. So she bought me this really cool Philadelphia Eagles t-shirt. And I was doing all of this cleaning out of my closet over the weekend, like giving away stuff to charity, like Goodwill. And I came across that Eagles shirt.
Love it.
And I was about to put it in the donation pile. And I thought, I can't do it. Carol Perloff gave me this shirt. I'm keeping it.
Well, that's very nice of you.
Yeah, and it's still in the closet right now.
Every time, I mean, half our studio is crap that my mom is trying to unload on us from Costco in the Philadelphia area. There's so many. Actually, the back office has about 200 things. You won't let me bring them out here.
No.
Basically, if you want a mini Eagles cornhole, we got it.
We've got 3 of those. I don't know why.
Yeah. If you want a Philadelphia Phillies doorstop, we got it. Thank you, Carol Paul Perloff. Yeah, who had no relation to Rich or Chris.
Oh, hopefully somewhere she's still getting a cut of that LeBron James contract. Kaplan now admonishing me that some poor kid doesn't have that shirt now. No, I'm going to keep it.
I mean, the real thing, okay, I know we got a break, but Bronny looked good in Summer League, and LeBron swings a golf club for the first time and looks like he's going to be on the PGA Tour in about 3 years. I'm telling you, that swing had an amazing follow-through, so I'm not sure it's all bad for LeBron.
I mean, we're going to golf. We're already transitioning. It's like you're retired. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, LeBron
James.
Are you rooting for him to win a title in what will likely be his last year, maybe? Or do you want him still crisscrossing the country here to, I don't know, chase? Should he just be happy with what's going on with the Lakers? Not always looking for the next thing? 888-710-4ISN. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Maggie and I have reverse roles. She comes back from vacation and she's ripping LeBron. I think LeBron had a good weekend. He basically showed up in his hometown of Cleveland, worked out, says it's not about the Cavs. You all are bored to link me to the Cavs.
Yeah, it's
Then
our fault.
He goes out on the golf course and has a crazy good follow-through on his first golf swing, which he secretly got lessons behind the scenes.
You know
I'm sure.
this? Or
I mean, there's no way
alleging?
that was his first golf swing. Come on. Actually, I don't even know if he said it was his first golf swing, but he's new to golf. He's probably going to be amazing in about a month. And then his son goes out and has a sick dunk over 3 guys in Summer League.
Hey-o.
Saw that.
Things are all coming up LeBron, but Maggie's over him after 37 years of watching him.
I am. I can't take
she's
one
not
more.
over him. She's over
No.
some of these offseason shenanigans claiming that he wants to get to a potential champion.
Yeah, I'm over him being let GM. I'm over it. Not when Luka Doncic just falls into your lap and now all of a sudden it's like, well, I got to be monitoring my better options. Like, well, how about a team where you have a top 5 player next to you?
But do you think that team is good?
I think that team has the potential to be good. I do. Because LeBron and Luka did not have a full season together. Now, are they going to be committed? Luka looks committed. You love being the weight police, the body.
He's a Joel Embiid.
Body shame police.
Yeah.
It looks like Luka appears to be all in here on getting his body right. So, I mean, what more do you need to see if you're LeBron? Stick with Luka.
I just think you look at the NBA, the Thunder had, 9 awesome defenders? The Lakers have 4 major problems in their starting lineup on defense. Actually, I'm trying to think who's not the major. Yeah, because Ayton's a big problem. You pull that guy out to the three-point line, that's death. LeBron's going to be a big problem. He's too old and slow. Luka's always a big problem. And Austin Reeves is not really a defensive menace. That team's getting out of the West defensively. Remember, there's 2 sides of this game, Maggie.
I understand that, but, you are in a good situation.
No, you're not. This is like this. First of all, you're in the West. A good situation would be Cleveland. That would be a good situation.
You just spent the last segment saying that Cleveland can't get out of their own way in the playoffs
because they need a LeBron. They need
but
somebody.
You just said he's a bad defensive player. That
yeah,
he's
but
not going to be as good.
They can protect him.
Let's go to William. He's in Arlington, Texas. William, are you still rooting for LeBron after the shenanigans?
That would be a negative. I'm going to tell you something, Maggie. You're drinking the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. The Lakers have so many problems. First of all, and I'm not even a fan of LeBron. I'm a fan of his greatness because he's a straight-up baller. Luka, baller. But to me, that was a mistake to trade him. Like someone alluded to earlier, you got 2 ball-dominant guys. People don't talk about the deficiencies in Luka's game. For a guy that goes to the free throw line as much as he does, he's a deficiency. He's only a 70-something% free throw shooter. They get rid of Anthony Davis. You get rid of any low post or defensive presence. And the Lakers, Austin Reeves on a championship caliber team is at least the 4th best option. They've got holes and they're leaking like a sieve. if you're honest and you look at the way that NBA is played now, it's more of a perimeter game where guys are going up off screens or pin downs and spotting up, shooting up threes. And the Lakers defensively, they couldn't stop anybody in the West. Or if you add LeBron to the Cavs, to me, it may break up the chemistry that they got going. So let him stay where he's at. And the last thing I'll say, no NBA player applies this. And this is one thing that I love about Tom Brady. And I call it the Brady effect when it's in regards to finances. If you look historically at the years that he was in the top 5 at his position, they never won a Super Bowl. Take a little bit less money. If you're really about winning,
right,
take less money to where they can bring in some pieces around you. because the Lakers, not only, even if you try to go out and make some type of trade, because of the money and the way their cap situation is, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
You
William,
know what I mean?
I
He's made
hear
more
what you're
money
saying.
in a lifetime.
And and there's always that point, right? Like, how much can LeBron spend? And we count other people's money. William, thank you for the call. LeBron James is trying to buy an NBA franchise, and he's really rich. But you've got to be so beyond really rich to actually make a dent. You know, Tom Brady is a 5% partner in the Raiders, and you have to be beyond wealthy. And so LeBron's not taking discounts now because he's trying to buy probably the Las Vegas franchise, or at least be a major factor in buying that.
The Lakers just sold for $10 billion without the arena rights. There's no way. What difference does it get? 50 or 20?
I'm
30
just
million
saying,
is less than 1%, way less than 1% of that. That doesn't matter.
if you are trying to buy a franchise, you are not getting closer to it by giving discounts to your current team.
Oh, come on. You're saying, say it was a $10 million discount. That would have no impact. If he made 40 or 50, he's going to need like $8 billion.
No, but William's saying over the course of many years. He's saying Tom Brady did this over the course of the career. If you really want to be like a majority owner or something like that, I don't know. LeBron is not that rich. He's pretty rich. You can't be giving money back.
Yeah, I think Tom Brady took marginally less, like 10% less, right? LeBron could have given him back a little bit. It really wouldn't make it. You're going to need a ton of money. He's going to have to go in with a bunch of guys anyway.
Of
You
course.
can't tell me this $52 million contract he just opted into was to help buy Las Vegas. I can't buy that because it's such a minor percentage of the whole deal.
No, but it was a 2-year $100 million. So what did William want him to sign? A 2-year $30 million deal?
Well, he opted it, right, but he could have opted out of the 52 for this year and signed a less contract with the Lakers.
Didn't want to do it. Knight is in Indianapolis. Good morning, Knight. How are you?
Hey, how y'all doing?
We're doing good.
I think LeBron just wants this 1-year contract because I think if Bryce gets drafted, he's free to go wherever he wants. And I think everything I heard is Bryce is supposed to be better than Bronny. So it would make sense if Bronny got drafted after 1 year, then Bryce may get drafted after 1 year, and this gives LeBron flexibility on where he wants to go. The other thing that nobody ever talks about, Maggie, and this is why the first-time coach doesn't matter, LeBron James is the only person who took 3 coaches who had never won a championship, 2 championships, and they never won since LeBron left. So there's something about him that he can take a coach who is his first time coaching and elevate that coach that he wins the championship. And so I think LeBron wants to do that a 4th time and be the only he's the only person that's done that 3 times, and he'll be the only person that's done that 4 times. So I think that's
he's
what
like the
LeBron
coach
is looking for.
The coach kingmaker is what you think, LeBron. He helps these coaches. Knight, thank you for that. I mean, LeBron's played for a lot of coaches. Couldn't elevate them all. Eric Spoelstra, Frank Vogel, Ty Lue are the 3 he's won with.
I think, by the way, we all think Bronny's the better prospect than Bryce. That's the general thinking, right?
That was not always the general thinking.
Right,
because
when Bryce was in
is
8th grade.
older, is taller, excuse me.
Yeah, but Bryce was 3-star, I think, and Bronny was 4-star.
Whatever
Bryce
that means.
I mean, first of all, Bronny, I'm so sorry to say this, and this is going to sound, I think he's looking like he might actually be an NBA player. He's actually on our TV about to throw it down on somebody.
Yeah, well, he's had a whole year of NBA coaching, conditioning.
But
He
he came
should
in
look like an improved player.
Much bigger recruit than Bryce. Bryce was not really a prized possession for colleges.
So Bryce is going to be at Arizona this year, and so it doesn't really matter, though. He could be playing North, South, East, West State. If you're LeBron's kid and LeBron's going to get you drafted, that's Knight's point, right? Is that like LeBron will be a free agent, and then the wink deal is, hey, if you draft Bryce, I'll come play for you.
Yeah, right.
Right. So it doesn't matter where he goes or what kind of star prospect he was.
I mean,
this is all a sham. It's all charade anyway.
Bronny averaged, 3 or 4, 5 points a game in college, and he got drafted. So, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It does feel like, though, that LeBron might want to make this his last year. I'm getting those vibes, too. It seems to be a lot of people think, oh, he's going to shut it down after this year.
Well, depends.
I mean, it's not going to look.
Determined.
It's not going to look great. We all saw late year Jordan Wizards.
But then you can't have it both ways. You can't say it's not going to look great, but then say he could go to the Cavs and he could be a major piece there on a championship team.
He'll be a somewhat of a role player. Like, he can't carry a team anymore. The Cavs have enough pieces from a role player. The Lakers, I don't think they do. I'm actually surprised. The odds are they're still in the mix according to Vegas. I just, as that caller first said, like, where's the defense? And also, where's the perimeter shooting? And there's just so many problems with this lineup.
Let's get to
2027, Luka. That team is going to be good.
What's the big move they're making?
LeBron's gone. Like, there's nobody on their books. Literally nobody. They have an entire free roster to sign anybody who happens to be available, so they can really build around Luka. That is a true value. LeBron, did you see the report that he's viewed as an expiring contract by the Lakers? That I like to hear that. Like, the Lakers do have a future. It's just not going to be with LeBron.
Let's get to Andrew Bogish, who's got all the latest headlines for us on what was a busy weekend. What's up, Bogue?
Guys, good morning. Your headlines sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com. What a soccer weekend our Manny had. It ended last night, the U.S. and Mexico in the Gold Cup final in Houston.
La segunda, y ahí está el gol.
That's how it sounded on 2DN when VAR awarded Edson Alvarez the tie-breaking goal in the 77th minute. That's His right. header initially called offside. Mexico a 2-1 win over the American B team to go back-to-back in this event. B
team. Excuses. Mexicans
Reality.
Go ahead and take a look at what players are on this team, man. Matt Turner, who didn't play in the tournament, he's got 52 caps. You take a look at Walker Zimmerman. He's been playing for 20 years. He'll probably be at the World Cup next season. Chris Richards, come on, don't give me the B team. There's some good players on this American team that fell short on their face on 4th of July weekend.
Chris Richards, I think, is the only person that played last night that's guaranteed to play in the World Cup.
No, Tyler Adams, not.
I forgot about Tyler Adams.
Yeah,
so
Tyler
too.
Adams, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Diego Luna most likely going to.
He's going to make the roster.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he played.
Is this the goalie, Matt Freese? Is that?
I don't think so.
Well, Matt Freese is suddenly America's number one. It had always been Matt Turner until basically this tournament. Matt Freese showed up very well. Matt Freese plays in MLS, plays for New York City.
Who's starting next year?
Bogus, you have an idea?
I would think it's Matt Freese.
I would think so too.
So, okay. So it's not a B team in that sense, but it's still.
Yeah, but I mean, again, this is a guy that came out of nowhere to be the starter for this event. It's not a reassuring thing. And he's also not some 19-year-old phenom.
Matt Freese is 26 years old.
Yeah.
They kept saying last night on the broadcast, we're only 340 days away.
That's right.
That's a lot of days, in my opinion, to change up your roster and to.
But they have no games.
What's that?
This was the problem with Pulisic. They have no games to do this in.
Sure, but you're still going to have training camps. You're going to have, they're not going to be all strangers meeting for the first time.
No. But all these other, but the large majority of the rest of the nations are going through qualifying.
Yeah.
So they're going to be battle tested and they're going to have actual chemistry. This team is going to have a bunch of friendlies.
Well, the Americans aren't the only ones that have that issue. The Mexicans and the Canadians are on the same boat.
Yeah, but I don't care about Canada, and Mexico's better, so.
Are they?
Yeah.
And the reason why you're saying that is because as the host countries, you don't have to qualify.
Correct.
You automatically get a bid.
Right, which seems like a structural kind of handicap because you're not going to be as intense. I actually asked the crew last week, is U.S. soccer less intense because they know they have this spot already sewed up?
If that's the case, then they've got another
It's
thing
not really
coming.
a winning attitude.
No, not at all.
Well, I mean, it's U.S. soccer. Am I wrong? Spot's a lie.
That's the problem. It's U.S. soccer.
Yeah. Is there a way, now Perloff's the ultimate bandwagon jumper here. Is there another team we should be eyeing here?
Anybody in Europe?
Well, normally I'm you're with your team and that's it. You get one team, you root for your team. But maybe the Perloff approach is not a terrible thing for the
Pick a
World
second
Cup.
team.
Yeah. What's the acceptable second team
Well,
that
your
a U.S.
heritage.
fan?
How about
What if your heritage isn't represented?
Well, then, okay. Then we're on to our C list.
I'm half Norwegian, half Russian.
So the Russians are not going to be in the World Cup. That's
Right.
number one.
Yeah.
Would you say Norway? Yeah. Good luck with them qualifying.
They even
for the
play
World Cup.
soccer up there.
They
It's
do,
really
they do.
cold.
They indulge in some footy, but
They indulge.
well, I mean
They come out with snowsuits on. It's 100 degrees.
Yeah,
The
they actually
tournament-
have snow footies on.
tournament did expand to 48 teams, so maybe Norway will finally get in for the first time since I'm going to guesstimate 2006.
Is that where Holland is from?
Holland, yes.
Right. Is he Norwegian?
Yeah.
He's like the only good player on a random Scandinavian team, which is the problem for all of these events because he never plays in prominent international events.
Nope. Yeah, I mean,
You're talking about a person, not the country.
Yeah,
so we only
Erling
think we're
Haaland.
domes.
Erling Haaland is a player
Yeah.
for Manchester City who is Norwegian, who is one of the best players. I mean, he's the only saving grace that Norway has right now of making the World Cup. And even then, Norway in European competition hasn't exactly showed out.
I think we need someone like a South Sudan. Remember at the
Like a
for
dark horse,
basketball?
yeah.
Like
Here's
we
the
need
answer.
a feel good.
Perloff, find out about the Spanish team because I think they're going to win the World
Well,
Cup.
by the way, Maggie, the Perloff bandwagon jumping is to great teams. I don't want the underdog.
See, yeah.
Ergo the Spanish.
You like Spain?
Oh, I love the Spanish. I think Spain is a very, very good team.
Yummy.
As long as they stay healthy, I think they're going to win the World Cup next year.
Great uniform too. Good jersey to have.
Well, so
Is red your color?
we're gonna save it though. I got to tell you, I think I fell in love with a player
Yeah, you
again
did.
this weekend when Manny and I had a soccer experience. And we'll save, but I think I might be Team France.
Team France. Oh, okay. I thought you were going for another player. Yeah, no, the French are definitely a contender for the World Cup again.
Do you realize
That
what's
is-
happening here? Do we realize that Manny and Perloff are now speaking a shorthand where they're like
Yeah,
communicating
Maggie.
telepathically because they've been hanging out so much outside of the show?
I gotta say, Manny is the number one. If you have tickets to a game, take Manny. He made my hockey experience so much better, and he explained soccer to me like I was a third grader this weekend, which was very
you are
helpful.
a third grader.
Do you realize that a single tear is just rolling down Andrew Bogus's
There's more
cheek?
than one tier.
Because he's offered so many times, I'll do this. I'll drive cross country with you. I'll go to this game. I'll go to that game. And Prof's just like, man, he's the best.
Yeah, I said it last week when you weren't here, Maggie. I've got nothing. I've lost you. I never had Perloff. EJ couldn't care less. I got nothing.
This is bleak.
Yeah.
There were about 5
By the
or
way,
6
she didn't
times.
dispute the fact that I've lost her. You guys heard that, right? She
Just
just
saying
she
things are
accepted
rough.
that.
I heard that.
Things are rough. I'm with you. I'm with you in that regard that you've lost everybody. There were about 5 times.
Yeah, thanks.
There were about 5 times when I was on vacation that I had major FOMO that I wasn't here for the show.
5 times.
Yeah.
Lady, you're on vacation, girl.
I know.
Seriously.
Relax.
Were you stomping around wherever you were giving LeBron takes to people?
We talk about people being out.
Talking
They're
to your
like,
5-year-old about LeBron
Just wanna
passive-aggressive
swim, Mommy.
messages.
Meanwhile, we were just
Get her
scrambling.
a White Claw and shut her up.
We were just scrambling to get on air. You were not missing as much as you might have thought.
We didn't have a stream on Friday, I don't think.
Yeah. We were like, you know how ducks look calm on the surface and their legs are moving really strong underneath? That was the Maggie and Perloff show last week. Like
Oh,
we
no.
were fighting upstream without you, Mag.
Man, could have
Hey,
fooled me.
We did it, though.
Look at you guys.
Did
Look
we?
at us. Still breathing. Still
We
breathing with the
did
show on the air.
Did it ish?
Yeah. Wednesday's poll question goes up today. But we did it.
All right. Well, I got to hear more about the Perloff and Manny Brofest at the FIFA
I mean,
Club
here's
World Cup.
your biggest fear, Maggie, of all fears, will be Perloff thinking he can talk soccer in
Oh,
an
no.
educated way. That could be the worst. I mean, if America does well and advances in the World Cup, oh man, I'm going to be just throwing out soccer takes like you never heard before.
Good thing we have 340 days to get ourselves ready for
Real Alexi Lalas over there.
Yeah,
Matt
we get to
Freese.
Lawless too.
Matt Freese, David Freese's son.
Perloff starting rumors. World Series hero David Freese.
Yeah. Is that really true? I have no idea.
No.
It's definitely
No.
not.
By the way, NYCFC, where Matt Freese plays, they sent out a post saying, "Hey, good luck tonight in the Gold Cup final." The only thing that's wrong with that post is that it was published about 90 minutes after the game had ended, after the United States had lost.
American soccer.
Right on top of it, 888-710-4ISN, folks. Sorry, we'll get more coming up next hour. We do have some Cowboys news for you that we'll get to. And, yeah, how did Perloff and Manny hanging out outside of work go, especially when Manny's dad was there? What? Maggie Perloff Show.
Monday morning, the phones were still dead air, humming like time standing still. Mics were hot, but the chair sat bare, and Peter Bellotti was nowhere there. The rundown was tight, the clock was mean, but that board I booth stayed empty and clean. No call, no note, not even a sign, just silence on that broadcast line. Peter never showed, just faded away. Left the show hanging like a runaway. They gave him a shot, but he threw it aside. Now his boys at the board, just trying to ride. He's spotting breaks and running the flow, holding it down for a man you don't know. It's a damn shame how the story's told. Peter never showed. Son walked in with a quiet stare, sat where his father never cared. No training, no help, just pressure and pace. Trying to fix a name, trying to save face. Maggie cracked jokes, Perloff kept cool, but behind the laughs it just felt cruel. Cause everybody knew but no one said Peter's career was already dead. Peter never showed, just left a mess. And now his kids cleaning up the rest. Putting in work for a man who ran, taking the hits like a real grown man. He ain't asking for praise, just trying to cope with static and wires and faded hope. It's a hell of a load for a kid alone, 'cause Peter never showed. There's legends in this business, folks who grind, and there's names like Peter left behind. But the son's still here, earning his way, while his daddy's ghost fades more each day. Peter never showed, not once, not twice, just vanished like smoke in the broadcast nights. But blood don't always tell the tale. Sometimes the son wears the father's veil. Now he's running the board with a heart full of stone, in a chair his old man should have owned. It's a hard truth, but it's widely known. Peter never showed. 'Cause the son walked in with a quiet stare, sat where his father never cared. No training, no help, just pressure and pace. Trying to fix a name, trying to save face. Maggie cracked jokes, Perloff kept cool, but behind the laughs it just felt cruel. 'Cause everybody knew but no one said Peter's career was already dead.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
back to the Maggie Perloff Show. That is the Cowboy Quickie music. We update you on all things Dallas Cowboys related. This one, not so good, Pearl. KaVontae Turpin, the standout kick returner, who's been a two-time Pro Bowler for the Dallas Cowboys, was arrested with marijuana and gun charges. Marijuana, listen, not excusing it. It's illegal still, recreational marijuana in Texas. Not a very big amount. And the gun charges, we're not really sure what the nature of them is yet. But the bigger thing about this is not just what could happen to KaVontae Turpin, and this could be a major special teams person that the Cowboys are losing. Turpin, let's put him to the side. This had been a good offseason for the Dallas Cowboys. The George Pickens trade, while, a bit controversial because of Pickens and he's a little bit of a wild card, everything had been going pretty smoothly here. We have no setbacks on Dak Prescott and his rehab. You have Brian Schottenheimer at least saying all the right things as a head coach. Things had just been sort of quiet in a good way for Dallas. And then this was the first time you're like, oh, God, something that comes in kind of disrupts things a little bit. But overall, I thought, this had been a good sort of under the radar in a good way offseason for the Dallas Cowboys to this point.
Right, but does this have any impact on it? I know I was actually reading some of his special team stats. They are impressive, but you can't possibly say this could be a storyline at training camp.
It's not going to be. He had been weirdly, considering a couple domestic violence allegations when he was at TCU, he'd actually turned into a weirdly feel-good story because of his circuitous path to get to the NFL, where he was on all these minor leagues that he had, of toiled in. And then he became the standout returner for the Cowboys. And then this sort of pulls the curtain back a little bit more on that good story, even though most people in Dallas kind of understood what was going on. Anyway.
You can't win the offseason, Maggie. You can't win a single game in March, April, May, or June. This is all, the fact that there have been no negative headlines is totally irrelevant. Totally 100% irrelevant. In fact, I want teams with negative headlines sometimes.
You want all the chaos possible?
Listen, none of that means anything because I want to see in October when the Cowboys lose a tough game and George Pickens only gets 5 targets, how is that all going to work? Do you think are you confident that just because there haven't been any negative headlines in July, I do not trust this mix of players?
That is your Cowboy Quickie.
You do?
I was waiting for the nay. You know what? Here's the thing about the Pickens move. I think the smartest thing that the Cowboys did, and I don't think this was looked at as being smart. I think people are split on it, is not giving him the contract extension. Make him play on the 1-year deal and keep the carrot out there about the extension. I saw this a lot of places after they made the trade and just third-round pick, you've got to extend him to kind of keep him happy. What? George Pickens, if anything, you want the opposite. Let's see how he does when he can, if he can actually produce for you. That's what I want to see first before you think anyone believes George Pickens has earned the right to demand a huge contract. Well, the talent is there, but as you said, no one knows about his personality if he's going to be a wild card.
Well, his paycheck's on the line. So if he, it's Brian Schottenheimer's offense, which can get kind of wonky. If he doesn't get the targets, he's going to go absolutely ballistic because he needs to get paid.
But better that you know that if you're the Cowboys, right? Is this guy going to be a team player? Is he going to work within the offense, or is he going to be, a malcontent? If so, then get him out of the building in a year, and you haven't committed yourself to him. I loved that the Cowboys didn't tie themselves to Pickens. He hasn't earned that by how he behaved with the Steelers.
Yeah, we'll see. I just think that obviously we all know the Cowboys' issues. Is this team all going to be pointing in the same direction? I'm a little dubious. Again, Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, they might even win some regular season games here. But I just remember the playoff loss to Green Bay when Dak Prescott misses CeeDee Lamb early on and things fall apart. That whole team just crumbled under pressure. I'm not sure that this team is built differently.
Are you kidding me?
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. You can weigh in on that. I've already placed a bet on the Dallas Cowboys, if you remember.
For what?
Cover the spread against your Eagles. Opening
I did not
game.
remember that. I did not remember that.
Plus 7.5.
Wow.
Thinking about taking them to make the playoffs, too. Because nobody right now is looking at the Dallas Cowboys in a positive light, and the Turpin news pushed him even further down the list. Who's going to be the breakout star of the NFL next year?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Perloff football can't get here fast enough. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, and we're talking today about breakout stars. Now, who is going to be that guy in the next season, not just for the NFL, but also we're going to do this for college. And we're going to do one question every day this week about the upcoming season. So today, again, breakout stars. Now, the definition here is it can't be a rookie because clearly they'd be breaking out. It's their first year. So if you're picking someone who's not a rookie, this can't be an Ashton Genty award, although I think we both believe he's going to be pretty good this year. Who would be the breakout star you're eyeing this upcoming NFL year?
Okay, I'm going to go. I think this is kind of obvious because it was confounding why Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't get 1,200 yards last year. We see Malik Neighbors getting all kinds of targets and receptions and breaking records in New York. Marvin Harrison Jr. was pretty much, except for Trey McBride, the only weapon in Arizona's offense, and they did not use him. Former Ohio State wide receiver went number 4 in last year's draft to Arizona. All he did, 62 catches, 885 yards, 8 TDs. Not bad. But for a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., who was arguably one of the great wide receiver prospects to ever come in the NFL, it's ridiculous that they didn't show him off more. So all the reports out of Arizona, though, have been very positive. One, that they want to use him more, and two, that he's got better chemistry with Kyler Murray than he did last year. It didn't seem perfect. They seemed like they were on different pages. I don't think Kyler Murray is going to win in the NFL, but I do think that he can put up yards, and I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be more of a recipient this year. Last year was a lot of Trey McBride, a lot of running the ball, actually. I think they have to use this guy because he is, you look up stud in the dictionary, it's Marvin Harrison Jr. It's actually Jeremiah Smith, but then Marvin Harrison Jr. is right next to him. The guy, remember coming out of the draft? 6'3", 210, all muscle. He's put on even more muscle in the offseason. I think he has the potential to be a really, really good wide receiver. We're going to see it this year. Okay,
but here's my question. Nothing else has really materially changed about the Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
Same offensive coordinator, same head coach. The head coach is a defensive guy. Same offensive coordinator, right? Drew Petzing, same guy who's still there. Still have Kyler Murray. What about, this is just because you think you don't think they realized what they had in Marvin Harrison? I mean, they took him 4th overall. Why are you so bullish on the fact that they could actually change their ways next year?
He's a kid. I mean, he was 21 last year. He's actually 21 now. Or is he 21 or 22? He's really young. So I honestly, because at the end of the year, there were a couple games. He's 22. He's turned 23 in August. There were a couple games where he showed off how good he was. He had a touchdown toward the end of the season, the back corner of the end zone. That was like, oh, my God. I'm not saying that Drew Petzing is going to change the way he runs the offense, but they have eyes. Like, what else are you doing? Why are you going to be 7? Why are you going to start out 7-7 every year? Like, you have to try something here in Arizona. They can't run it back the same way. Can they? Can they keep doing this forever?
Well, they're all getting it fired. I mean,
yeah.
No, I mean, if you don't start being a factor in your own division, which I don't think anyone believes that the Cardinals are actually going to be a factor. Maybe we're sleeping on them. I don't know. But, you look at San Francisco, who have the easiest schedule in the NFL next year, at least on paper. If they get healthier, we all, I think, believe that San Francisco is going to be a thing again. The Rams could be a Super Bowl contender and have been.
Right.
So you have the Rams. We'll see what happens with Seattle. Now with Sam Darnold, I don't know about that, but maybe. And now Arizona always seems like this afterthought. So but I don't know what to expect.
I think you're right, except that I do think Jonathan Gannon, their head coach, former Eagles defensive coordinator, is well thought of. I think people think he's a good coach. I kind of hear that a lot. He won 4 games his first year, won 8 games last year. Like they play solid football. So you're right. He's probably on the hot seat, but maybe not. I think people, and Drew Petzing, people definitely like. He's a name around the NFL.
Yeah, but it's like tree falls. I don't know if they've actually made any kind of impact. I think both of those Eagles coordinators who you won the Super Bowl with back.
Shane Steichen.
You lost the Super Bowl with. Shane Steichen with Indianapolis and then Jonathan Gannon. I think both of those guys are probably on the hot seat.
Yeah, but do they, he's in Arizona. Does he have to be 4-13 to get fired? What if they're 9-8?
Well, I mean, what's the future with Kyler Murray? There's a lot of questions about what's going on in Arizona. Are they closer to just a middle of the pack or maybe a playoff team? Are they closer to a team that's going to be picking high in the draft?
If curious. If they're 8-9 or 9-8, I think they're fine. Like Jonathan Gannon, like this is the Cardinals. It's not the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry, but that's a reality. Like you don't have to get to the second round of the playoffs to keep your job there, do you?
Maybe not, but if Marvin Harrison isn't a thing, then you're going to get a lot of people like you who are pointing them out in the middle of July that, you want to see more from somebody who was such a huge star in college.
I mean, listen, we know how wide receiver works. If you want to make him a thing, you can make him a thing. Marvin Harrison's not lasting in anyone's fantasy draft this year. Let's put it that way.
For my NFL breakout star, it's also going to be a wide receiver, and I'm surprised that you didn't jump all over this guy because you basically want to put their new head coach in Canton already, and that is Ben Johnson, who you want to put in Canton. Rome Odunze would be the wide receiver that I'm looking at because Chicago, we think this offense is going to be totally different. Now, because of the division that they play in and because of the weather, maybe there's always going to be a little bit of a cap on what a wide receiver can actually do in terms of like yardage numbers and stuff like that, just playing in that awful, disgusting weather. But Rome Odunze, who did have 101 targets last year, he's obviously the wide receiver out of Washington, maybe thought to be a bit of a luxury piece when he was drafted. A lot of insiders thought, why not shore up even more on the offensive line? Why aren't you doing as much as humanly possible for Caleb Williams? Well, now that may look a little bit different because they have shored up the offensive line. They do now have this offensive coach in place who clearly everyone's excited about, Perloff #1, and Rome Odunze should be a huge recipient of that. And so for me, I think he's the guy I'm looking at to do the big breakout star thing.
Well, the thing is, though, doesn't he have to sort of share targets with DJ Moore?
Yeah, but no longer with Keenan Allen.
Right.
So they've moved on from him, and now it's basically going to be Odunze and DJ Moore. And so pick your poison there on who you want to cover.
And also, too, the Bears famously now have two legit tight ends.
Yeah, because they took Colson Loveland with a high pick.
So it does feel, if you look at the Lions as a model, what do the Lions do? They run the ball like crazy, and they use Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot. So who's the Amon-Ra St. Brown? I think it could be DJ Moore, though. That's why I'm not investing as much fantasy-wise in Rome Odunze.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be exactly like the Lions.
Well, it's going to be heavier on the run. Obviously, Ben Johnson starts. That's his claim to fame is he's a creative run caller. So I get it. I liked Rome Odunze so much in college. Did you see anything last year that made you excited?
Well, that's why I'm saying think he's going to be the breakout star this year because here's the other part, too. You have Caleb Williams. Like, this is why I can't compare it just to the Detroit Lions, what Ben Johnson did as their OC, is because Caleb Williams is not Jared Goff. Like,
they're similar. Why not?
Because he's way more athletic. You definitely going to use his legs a lot more.
He's not going to run downfield, though. That's not Caleb's game.
Well, but he even moving around. I mean, keeping plays alive. Like, this is the thing about Jared Goff, and I know he was a #1 overall pick as well, but it's got to be about precision, right? Like, Jared Goff is more of a timing guy. Caleb Williams is the improv guy. There's a reason why he got compared to Patrick Mahomes, and Jared Goff never does.
He was the improv guy. I do not think that Ben Johnson's going to let him do that. I mean,
never see it coming.
Yeah.
But that's kind of silly, though, right? Because he's good at it, and if he stops taking sacks,
is he good at it?
Well, he was good at it in college. He won the Heisman, so yeah, I think he's good at it.
What is it? Even in college, maybe should have got rid of the ball a little faster. I don't think Ben Johnson wants him running around that back there. He ran for 81 yards in 17 games last year. He's obviously not going to run downfield. That's almost Goff-like running. I think Caleb Williams is similar. Like, I think Ben Johnson's going to want to get him on schedule. You think he's going to – I get the creative touches, but I don't think that's what he wants at all. I mean, I think he's going to run it right down everyone's throat the entire game, and then Caleb is going to – you're finally going to move up to stop the run. He's going to hit you long to Odunze or more.
Okay, so like the Jameson Williams type of thing. I mean, here's the thing, though. This is a guy in Ben Johnson. We're talking about who's going to be the NFL breakout star. Perloff thinks Marvin Harrison Jr. I think Rome Odunze. This is a guy who created Stumble Bum. Jared Goff pretending to fall down. And then
that's Jared Goff, right?
I know. So what's he going to do with Caleb Williams?
He's definitely
going
not
to
going
put
to
the
say
Ferrari in the garage? No way.
There's no way. If Caleb Williams holds the ball for 5 seconds back there, Ben Johnson is going to explode. Because he's also like this hardcore guy. He's going to say, get rid of the darn football, right? Isn't that what all offensive coordinators, I'm sure even Andy Reid has probably yelled at Patrick Mahomes. Like, Caleb Williams cannot run around. If he starts doing that, then the Bears are in massive trouble.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Who did we miss? Who's going to be your breakout star for this upcoming season? Can I give you two that I thought about?
Yeah, hit me.
Well, one, Ricky Pearsall, who...
I don't know. I really don't know.
I know. A lot of mouths to feed with San Francisco, but he
I don't know
did show
about
flashes.
him.
But look at what he overcame. I mean, what a horrible situation where he gets shot in broad daylight in San Francisco. He recovers, and he actually played pretty well for a team that was, just sputtering last year. He's not a bad pick. Now, you're going to have IU coming back healthy. Obviously, Kittle's going to need his touches. Christian McCaffrey's going to need his. But Pearsall could be the guy they envisioned when they drafted him with a first-round pick.
He could be. It's hard to judge last year. You're right. He did come on at the end, and there are a lot of mouths to feed. I kind of root for the Niners. I don't know why. I want to see that all come together. Be so many people have given up on them because they think Cliff will screw it up at the end anyway. I am very TBD. Who else? What was the other one?
The other one, and I was afraid I'd get accused of being a homer. It's Keon Coleman.
Oh, here we go.
Well, that's why I didn't do it, guys.
Did you watch him play last year? You really saw that?
No, it's going to be because he's going to have to be. If the Bills are going to do what they want.
That's a guy.
He's going to need to have
Do you trust his hands? Like, there's a lot going on there. Maybe you're right.
He got hurt last year, so I don't know if we saw the full thing. But anyway, I didn't say that because I knew you guys would accuse me of being a homer.
I'm sure.
No, it's not. That's not that at all. I think we both watched Keon Coleman in limited action and said, I don't know.
I think Keon Coleman is piling up those winter coats about right now.
He'll need them.
I was not overly impressed with what I saw, but you could totally be right. You saw the skills there?
I hope I see the skills. See, the problem is it's going to be by necessity because really the only thing the Bills did was bring in Josh Palmer, and so there's going to be touches available. Let's put it that way. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, do you think he'll be a number one receiver again? I would be really surprised by that. I'll tell you my one. I looked at and a guy that no one's talking about, Devon Achane, if he's fully healthy in that Niner style offense.
Didn't he already break out though? We're doing NFL breakout players. He already had his breakout.
Devon Achane?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
How many yards do you think he rushed for?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but he's already a thing. He was a thing, and then he got hurt.
Do you think Devon Achane is broken? I don't think so. I think he's. I mean, that's the thing. He can't stay healthy.
800 yards in his first season in 11 games, 907 last season in 17.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, my God. He played 17 games last year, but he was coming off a major injury. That's not good. But I think here's the thing. He's super young. If he is healthy this year, I think he could be, going from 900 to 1,500 would be a massive breakout.
I guess so. I think that he.
Devon Achane? I'm talking about like making a Pro Bowl.
So here's my question about Miami. This would be my thing. How often are they going to be playing from ahead?
I mean, they're in the AFC East, so at least some of those games.
Well, I don't know. I think the Patriots are going to be a lot better, and I think the Jets are going to be better. So I don't know how often they're going to be playing from ahead, and I don't know how often you're going to be able to feature the run game if you're down by a touchdown or two. I don't know what's going on with the Dolphins. All I know is if I was a fan of theirs, I would not be happy. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Not the Jalen Ramsey trade, just what's going on here with Miami.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean. Like,
are they a contender?
No, but they are always around 8-9, 9-8.
I don't know. I think their coach is on the hot seat. I think that the rest of the division got better, and I don't think they got better.
Well, right, but they definitely have the capability of being 500. You're assuming Tyreek Hill's not healthy.
Yep.
They obviously have all these guys on defense that they've been drafting. Like, they're going to rotate in pass rushers. Like,
the Chop Robinsons. I get that they have some names.
They could easily be 8, 9, 9, and 8, and that's plenty of talent to run the ball. Like, they're playing the Jets. They're playing the Patriots. Like, their schedule is not going to – they're not going to get blown out so –
in that division then, Mags?
I think Miami does.
So you don't see them at all going 8, 9, 9, and 8?
No, I think after this year we're asking questions about are they going to draft Tua's replacement?
Oh, definitely if they can. But you think three?
That's not that. So you got to be drafting pretty high to get his replacement.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. Miami. I think they're stuck in limbo.
I think they could be picking top 10 though.
I see. Yeah, does 8-9 get you into the top 10?
I don't think they're going to be 8-9.
So you think they're going to be like 4 or 5?
Something like that. I could see a 6-win team. Six wins.
Yeah, 6 wins plenty. You can generate a run game at 6 wins.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Who is your breakout NFL star for the upcoming season? Perloff says Marvin Harrison Jr. I said Roma Dunze. What say you? We will do this for the college ranks coming up at the top of the next hour-ish. Top of the 9 o'clock hour. Okay, coming up next, we are so excited every time we get to talk to somebody who is a real decision maker in the world of not just professional football, but also professional wrestling. Our pal Tony Khan, the president of AEW and co-owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, will join us next. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. A lot of jealousy in the building today, Maggie. A lot of jealousy.
It's only going one way. I'm jealous of you and Manny.
Well, I mean, full disclosure, because I told the story last week. FIFA kindly reached out to you about going to the World Cup, the Club World Cup at MetLife Stadium in New York, and you weren't available on Saturday. So you said, hey, why don't you try Perloff? And I was like, yes, I'd love to do that. It'd be amazing. Then we had 2 extra spots. So what am I supposed to do? What would you do in this situation, Maggie?
Okay, so you had your wife, your 2 daughters.
Yeah. And
wow, how
2 extra.
generous was everyone from FIFA World Cup?
Very
that is
generous.
so cool. So then you had 2 extra.
Yeah.
Well, then I think you would probably say, who's the biggest soccer fan in the show?
Right. And is there anyone here whose father is a lifelong Real Madrid fan?
I wouldn't have known that until you just said. I didn't know that Manny's dad was a lifelong Real Madrid
Well,
fan.
this is how we got to it, because I got the invite, and then I'm like, I know Manny likes a Spanish soccer team. I just can't remember which one.
It's the other one. It's FC Barcelona.
Well, close enough, I guess, sort of. And so you took Manny and his dad to the FIFA Club World Cup. And I imagine this had to make Bogish pretty jealous, because Bogish is obviously a big soccer fan as well.
And then we saw Mbappe with a bicycle kick, and it was an amazing, amazing day.
All right. Well, we'll get to all of our FOMO on that in just a moment, but let's start our attention to one of our absolute favorites. He's the CEO and president of AEW, also Ring of Honor. He's also the chief football strategy officer for your Jacksonville Jaguars. He's the vice chairman of Fulham FC. He's got a lot of titles and wears a lot of hats. And thankfully for us, he likes to get up early. Tony Khan joining us now. Tony, thanks so much for the time. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's great to see you both. Thanks for having me on. And it's a huge week for AEW, so it's great to see you both.
Well, we're excited that AEW All In is actually stateside this year, because it had been in England for the last two rounds, and now this year you're in Dallas, Texas. You are at Globe Life Field, which is obviously the home of the Texas Rangers. How'd you settle on that venue, and what can we expect as far as Texas tie-ins for the event on Saturday, July 12th?
Well, it's one of the greatest wrestling territories of all time. Anybody who's seen the Iron Claw or a hardcore pro wrestling fan knows Dallas, Fort Worth, the Metroplex. These are some of the best wrestling fans in the world. And for AEW, we've never even done a pay-per-view all these years. In 6 years, we've been waiting for a big event in Texas, and this is our biggest event of the year. AEW All In, it's coming this weekend. It's a Saturday afternoon show. You can watch it on pay-per-view worldwide. It starts at 3 p.m. Eastern. It'll be 2 p.m. there in Dallas. It's going to be a great show, and it's already the most tickets we've ever sold for any show ever in North America. And the city of Arlington was just so kind, really wanted to bring the event to the Dallas Metroplex, to Arlington specifically, to Globe Life Field this Saturday afternoon. And it's been a huge success, so we're really grateful to them.
So, Tony, I looked at my weather app. It's not going to be so super hot, but it's definitely going to be warm. Not really for the fans, but the performers are going to be sweating a lot here.
There's a roof.
You're good.
Oh, Globe Life, Maggie, you didn't tell me there's a roof.
Do I have to tell you that?
It's a sports show. You guys, you're sports reporters. You know, there's a roof on Globe Life Field.
Well, there's still humidity to deal with. Well, I'll tell you one thing, though. You did bring up the Texas wrestling legacy. When I was a kid, I'm from Philadelphia. I'd buy the magazines. and they used to have the rankings from the other parts of the country. And I was always obsessed. What are these Von Erichs and who is this Dusty Rhodes? Because we never got to see them growing up. Are you guys going to pay homage to some of that tradition?
What a great call. Absolutely. We have representation from the Rhodes family and the Von Erich family, both in AEW, with Dustin Rhodes being a big part of AEW. And we have the Von Erich family, Kevin Von Erich himself, and his sons, Ross and Marshall. They're actually champions in Ring of Honor, teaming with Dustin Rhodes. So
awesome.
With AEW, we have great representation. They're all going to be there this weekend in Texas. Absolutely, we'll be paying tribute to the great legends of Texas wrestling. And we've got really some great legends in the making right now in AEW. I believe the best wrestlers in the world. And it's going to be, I think, our best and biggest show of the year this Saturday afternoon.
You got the Texas Death Match for the AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley versus Hangman Page. We're talking with the CEO and president of AEW. That would be Tony Khan. We'll also get your thoughts on the Jags. You guys were the talk of the draft with the big trade up for Travis Hunter. We'll get to that in just a moment. But, Tony, you're around athletes all the time, whether it's professional wrestlers, whether it's football players, soccer players. When you are about to have a big event like this, what are the nerves like backstage? First of all, for you, and then also for the athletes, is there someone you would compare it to? Like, are the wrestlers as nervous as the Jags before a playoff game, or what's the difference?
Well, I think it's a really good comparison. I think it's very different because there's a totally different kind of competition in pro wrestling. There's one-on-one matches. With Jags, it's always about a team. Sometimes in pro wrestling, as you're referenced before, there's huge one-on-one matches, big championship matches, like the Texas Death Match with Hangman Page challenging the world champion Jon Moxley for the title this weekend, like Timeless Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné for the AEW Women's World title, Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada for the AEW Unified Championship, one of the greatest one-on-one rivalries in sports. For us, football is a team sport. It's very different, but at the same time, you're right. They're great athletes, and it's all about preparation, and it's all about finding the best talent. So there are some similarities, absolutely.
Tony, I have a sports business question, very relevant to AEW. We came off an NBA Finals where the ratings were up and down, but I hear TV ratings now. We argue about this a lot. Do they mean what they used to in a world of streaming? I know this is pay-per-view. But what are the average sports fan supposed to read into TV ratings in this day and age?
Well, it's a great question, man. Absolutely. I think ratings are still a really big part of the equation. TV's been great for AEW this year. We've had growth in 2025, and that's really nice to see success stories for TBS and TNT. We started simulcasting, so now AEW is streaming on Max live every Wednesday night and Saturday night, but we're still doing Wednesday nights also on TBS every week and TNT Saturday most weeks. But this week, Collisions are going to be on Thursday because All In is Saturday afternoon for the big AEW pay-per-view week. But ratings are a huge part of it, and we've had great growth and support from the fans on TBS Wednesday nights and TNT Saturday nights. And from Q4 to Q1 to Q2, we keep going up on TBS and TNT. So I think it is still a really important part of sports, whether it's football or in this case, wrestling.
Tony Khan is joining us. You got AEW All In. It's from Globe Life Field, which has a roof.
Retractable. I looked it up. It's retractable. So
yeah. Well, it's going to be closed because it's in the middle of the afternoon in that Texas sun. So it's going to be the afternoon pay-per-view. You got to check it out. And Tony, I'm curious because you take your business all over the world. You really are all over the world. You're doing this right in the same neighborhood, though, in the backyard of the Dallas Cowboys. And as someone who is the chief football strategy officer for the Jacksonville Jaguars, do you reach out to the Cowboys to invite any of their players to this event, or is that crossing a line in terms of the NFL competitive-wise you don't want to do?
I didn't bother them or their players specifically about coming to the event, but I really did go to them for some help. This is our most tickets we've ever sold for any show in 6 years of AEW in North America. Our biggest ticket sales records are historically in the UK. We actually set the world record for the most tickets sold for any wrestling show ever for this event, AEW All In, at London's Wembley Stadium. We sold 81,035 tickets. And we've had that great record success bringing that show to America. It's our first time ever doing this. And it's our record all-time ticket sales. And the Cowboys were very helpful. I called them specifically, and Jerry, Steven, Jerry Jr., they were really supportive, and they let us actually put flyers for AEW All In up at their Monday Night Football game because they're really cool people. So the Cowboys have been great.
Did Jerry ask for front row seats? Does he want to grab the mic at some point? Because he's a character.
He's a great person. I've learned a lot from him, and some of the greatest, pro wrestling's all about interviews. Some of the great moments in wrestling are the promos, the interviews. Jerry Jones is one of the greatest promos I've ever seen. And a lot of them have been behind closed doors. Nobody will know some of them. I've seen some really, really great speeches from Jerry Jones. This is my 14th season working in the NFL, going to the owners' meetings. He's a brilliant man, and he adds a lot to the NFL and has a lot of insights about the history of the business of the NFL, the history of football in the NFL. And absolutely, we're really blessed to be there working with them. And the Texas Rangers, in this case, have been great partners at Globe Life Field, and we're really grateful to them. All the great things the Texas Rangers have done to help make this a success. The first time we brought All In to America, and the most tickets we've ever sold in America.
And I had read Tony Khan is joining us. He's the CEO and president of All In. You got AEW All In Texas, Globe Life Field, for the first time ever that they've ever hosted a wrestling event, is what I read. That's July 12th. This upcoming weekend. And I heard that you told our colleague Rich Eisen one of the reasons why you had to move the venue is because Coldplay, the band, had Wembley booked already. So this ended up being kind of obviously a cool thing because you get to go to this other venue. Were there other finalists for the venue, or was it no Wembley, we're going to Globe Life?
There were other finalists for the venue, but this was front and center. And I think Arlington, Texas is going to be a great place for the show this Saturday afternoon. And if you're not around the Dallas area, or if you're not around Texas or can't make it to Texas on Saturday, you can watch the show Saturday afternoon on pay-per-view. All In, we've always had these afternoon starts doing the show from London. We kept it going this year. So our UK fans are still going to be able to watch the show Sunday night. And it's going to be a great show. Saturday night. Yeah. And it's going to be a great show this Saturday afternoon. It's the first time we've tried something like this coming here, so there were a lot of candidates and finalists. But like I said, Arlington, Texas, since we've never had a Texas pay-per-view, I thought it made a lot of sense to start here with our biggest show of the year.
I'll tell you one Dallas personality. George Kittle said he wants to go right into pro wrestling as he retires. Micah Parsons feels like he was born to get on the mic at wrestling. He'd
be great.
Yeah, he'd be awesome. Will you scout players? I know you do a lot of scouting of college players. Do you ever say, "Ooh, that guy's big. He'd be a good wrestler"? Do you ever think about NFL pro wrestling crossovers?
Long before I was a wrestling promoter, it's kind of funny. A guy he's up and coming in a tag team. They feature sometimes on Collision and sometimes in Ring of Honor. I actually scouted him as a college football player in 2013. Brennan Williams. I met him at the University of North Carolina, where my friend Bill Belichick is now the head coach. And Brennan Williams was an offensive lineman at North Carolina. He ended up being a third-round pick of the Houston Texans and had his knee injured in the NFL, and then actually spent a training camp with us in Jacksonville 10 years ago this summer. And he always wanted to be a pro wrestler, and he's become a pro wrestler. And he's with us now in AEW, part of the MXM team. And we really like him a lot, and it's kind of a cool story to have somebody I met in the NFL that's come and been a part of AEW now.
Tony, you said your friend Bill Belichick. What did you guys bond over, you and Belichick? Is he a wrestling guy, or did you guys more bond over football strategy? What's the crux of your friendship?
Well, like I said, I've worked in football for 14 years now in stats and analytics and sports strategy, like in sports statistics specifically. I own a company called True Media that works with 27 out of the 30 Major League Baseball teams and is the top sports engineering and analytics firm in all of sports. So Coach Belichick is really into stats and sports analytics and statistics. And of course, Coach Belichick is really into football strategy, and he's a great decision maker and a great thinker. So yeah, I've talked to him a lot about sports stats and analytics and things over the years. He's a really smart person. So when I went to North Carolina, in 2013, first met Brennan, like I said, who now wrestles for us as Mason Madden in AEW. I never would have thought Bill Belichick would be the coach there. It's really cool. And I can't wait to go back there with Mason Madden and visit him sometime.
And do you guys think in NFL circles that he's coming back to the NFL at some point, or do you think he'll stay in college?
I'm not sure. I think he's got a really cool thing going there. I really like Bill a lot. I only mentioned because of the connection with North Carolina with our wrestler that I met there and scouted there. But the next time I go back, it'll be a lot different than it was then. But I do like him a lot. I think he's going to do great there.
Tony, you're so enthusiastic about everything you get involved in. The night of the draft, you're sitting there at number 5. You're waiting to see what the Titans do at number 1 to make sure that they pick the quarterback. And you have a trade in place, reportedly, to go up to number 2 to get Travis Hunter. What's the adrenaline like in the room when that's all going down, that, say, 10-minute period?
It was crazy, but at the same time, I think we were very confident that that was the way the draft was going to go. It's really a great thought process that went into it. James had made a great deal in our eyes and had made the trade that we all thought made a lot of sense, but it did mean that we had to wait and see what the number 1 pick was going to be. But I think we all had a pretty good sense what the number 1 pick was going to be. So it was probably not as much stress as it could have been otherwise, but it was a great thing. And we're all really excited to have Travis Hunter on the Jaguars.
Yeah, James Gladstone is your GM, got a new head coach also, and Liam Cohen. We're talking with Tony Khan, who is the president and CEO of AEW and Ring of Honor, also the chief football strategy officer for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tony, you're all into strategy. You mentioned True Media. Everyone in the media is very familiar with that. How much is the front office going to have input on Travis Hunter playing both ways? Is this just going to be purely a coach's decision, or are there going to be a lot more people advising on what his workload's going to be like?
That's going to be Liam Cohen's decision, and I think Liam's had a great vision and a great plan for how he wants to implement Travis, and certainly, Liam and James and our whole front office, Tony Baselli, myself, and my dad, of course, we all had met up and talked extensively about the positives of this move and definitely the ability for Travis to play on both sides of the ball at a high level. That was a huge part of this. So Liam's got a great plan. I think Liam's been pretty open, and we're all really excited about Liam Cohen as the coach of the Jaguars, what he's going to bring. And he's really excited to have Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball.
I mean, everyone wants to know, is it going to be a full-time workload on both sides of the ball, even right out of the gate?
I think Liam's been pretty open about it, that he's going to have a heavy workload. He's going to be very involved on both sides. And, even the open practices, he's practiced on both sides. So I'm excited about it.
You know who else in the Dallas area you might incorporate this weekend? Deion. I mean, can you imagine Deion on the mic in wrestling? That would be, I don't know if he is health, but do you know Deion well? Have you gotten to know him through the years?
I had met Deion through broadcasting. It's not somebody I was expecting to see at AEW All In, but you never know. I do like Deion a lot. It's a great question, but I think he's a tremendous person. As a broadcaster, I've gotten to spend a good amount of time with him, and I do go to a lot of college football games. I have not gone into Colorado and visited with him since he's been the coach, but I do like going to college games and visiting the college coaches and players. I do think Deion has done great things there, and he's the kind of exciting character you want to see in pro wrestling. And in AEW, we have the best pro wrestlers. I think that means great characters, people that bring a lot of excitement, but also the best wrestlers. And that's what's going to be showcased this Wednesday night on TBS, Thursday night on TNT, and then, of course, Saturday afternoon, AEW All In, our biggest show of the year this Saturday afternoon.
They say everything's bigger in Texas, Tony. Last one for you. And again, thanks for being so generous with your time this morning. I know it's your big, huge week of the year. You're obviously the team scouting Travis Hunter, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so when Shedeur starts falling in the draft, you're obviously set at quarterback with Trevor Lawrence. There's no question marks about a starter. But when Shedeur starts falling and it looks like more and more like a backup role, did the Jags think about him at all? Did you guys scout Shedeur in a real way?
I think we had a plan here where we, have a great quarterback with Trevor Lawrence. So we felt pretty secure about what we had to do. We had a lot of draft positions to evaluate. He's a great player, but certainly, as we were going through the process, I think we made great picks along the way. And I think the Browns picked a great player there too. We made a great trade with them earlier. So I think it worked out for everybody really well.
I'll tell you, I'm most looking forward to Tony Storm against Mercedes Moné in AEW All In.
Friend of the show, by the way, Tony, just so you know. She's awesome.
We love Mercedes Moné around here, but they're both really, really talented. Jon Moxley against Hangman Page is going to be epic. Tony, good luck this week. Have fun. You got Wednesday Dynamite, Thursday Collision, Saturday in the afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern time, you said, AEW All In from Globe Life Field in Texas.
Don't worry about the heat. It's indoors, Tony. I double-checked.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you both.
Tony, you're the best.
Good to see you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I like the fact that, and because I was going to ask him the question, but he answered it, the fact that it's in the afternoon was because the international audience, that's where it had been at Wembley Stadium the last 2 years. So you're going to try to keep the integrity there. But I love an afternoon sporting event. Like,
that's because you're old.
That's because, well.
Like, not nearly as old as me. But, yeah.
I'm excited because I actually have that afternoon free. There we go.
You're like, I can watch the whole thing and then I can be in bed by 8:30. Yeah.
I wish that more people would think of us who do morning shows and stuff like that.
No, believe me, I'm right with you. I'm like, an afternoon game. Tell me more about this.
Actually, I'm serious. I am happy that they're doing this in the afternoon because I have a 40th birthday party that I've got to go to that night.
Congratulations.
Oh, my God. Oh, by the way. You say congratulations. Tell me you didn't dread the Saturday night 40. Like, you're already looking at your bedtime.
Well, I made sure it wasn't a surprise. I'm like, all right, so when are we doing, like, the toasts and stuff? Because
See, there it is.
Give me the rundown. Give me the rundown.
Give me the rundown.
I need who all's going to be there and what's the run of show? Is this like a dinner?
So I assume after that, you have to wait till the toast and you're gone.
Yeah, well, this is also for babysitter purposes.
Yeah, no, you have a young child. That's when I had my kids were young. That was everything.
Yeah,
getting out of there on time.
How long do you have to pay the babysitter? 888-710-4ISN.
Just leave the kid alone. He'll be all right.
No, thanks. We'll come home and the place will be destroyed. 888-710-4476. Adam Cole, Kyle Fletcher, another big match that's happening in AEW Saturday, July 12th. All right, cool. Really appreciate Tony Khan coming on there. Coming up next, we will talk a little about Shedeur Sanders. Why? Because it looks like nobody on the Browns wants him to be the starting quarterback or something like that. We'll get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. We just interviewed Tony Khan, CEO of AEW Wrestling, and, of course, Jaguars co-owner. I'm not sure his dad, Shad Khan. Obviously, a big part of the Jaguars. Maggie, are you more convinced than ever after hearing that Travis Hunter is going to be the Shohei Ohtani of the NFL? Are you ready? It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming both ways, and I think that is going to be one of the most exciting things in the NFL season.
No doubt. It's got to be one of the biggest storylines, and they're like, they call their wrestling outfit, this pay-per-view, All In. They're all in on Travis Hunter playing both ways. So.
Yeah, he said it's Liam Cohen, the head coach's decision ultimately, but he's sure to not quiet that possibility at all.
No, and it looks like the workload's going to be robust, both sides of the ball, so I'm excited. I just hope the guy doesn't get hurt. Let's get to Andrew Bogusch, who's got headlines for us. What's going on, Bogues?
Guys, 19 first-timers headed to baseball's All-Star Game next week in Atlanta after bench players and pitchers were revealed yesterday. The newbies include Dodgers righty Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Cubs 34-year-old lefty Matthew Boyd, his manager Craig Counsell.
Matt's put together a wonderful first half. He's a very deserving, and that, to make the staff as one of the starters in this league, that's not an easy thing to do.
Boyd got the All-Star nod, then went out and got his 9th win of the season, 5 scoreless against the Cardinals. He K'd 9, allowed just 3 hits and a walk in an 11-0 rout of St. Louis. The NL reserves do not include Juan Soto or Mookie Betts. Betts had made 8 consecutive All-Star games. Tigers lefty Tarek Skubal picked for the AL pitching staff, not surprisingly. That gives Detroit 4 All-Stars. The Mariners also have 4 with Julio Rodriguez and pitchers Andres Munoz and Brian Wu joining Cal Raleigh. Woo. Back on the field last night, the Padres took the rubber game from the Rangers 4-1, and the Giants took care of the A's in Sacramento.
1-2. That one is blasted out to left center field. Denzel Clark back at the wall. It is gone! Willie Adames has come to life at the plate. His 11th home run of the year. It's 2-0 Giants.
That's from Giants Radio. Adames also walked twice with the bases loaded, giving him 3 RBI in this game after 4 on Saturday. San Francisco won this game 6-2. And then we have the Nationals, who finally fired GM Mike Rizzo and manager Dave Martinez yesterday. They have not finished better than 4th in the NL East since winning the 2019 World Series. U.S. men's soccer took the lead in less than 4 minutes, didn't score again. Mexico won the Gold Cup 2-1 in Houston last night. The Americans now 2-6 against Mexico in the finale of this event.
Muy bien.
WNBA also reserves also announced yesterday. Captains Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier will pick their teams tomorrow night. Angel Reese, Kelsey Plum, Alyssa Thomas, Skylar Diggins among those returning to the game. Reese with 16 points, 17 boards, 6 assists last night, but her Sky lose in Minnesota 80-75. Collier scored 21 as the Lynx stayed perfect at home, now 11-0. And Bronny James, 10 points in 11 minutes in the Lakers' 103-83 Summer League win
Catch the fever
over the Heat in San Francisco. Guys, back to you.
That projects to 45 points a game in the actual NBA regular season. It's coming.
Your boy, VJ, looked good.
I'm saving that for later. I'm especially saving that stat line for later in the show. VJ Edgecombe.
Yeah, we know. You're wearing the Sixers hat.
Oh,
You're all
yes,
back
I
in.
am.
All right, got it.
Play the song.
No,
don't do that.
Don't do it.
Play the song.
But here's the thing about the Summer League versus spring training versus NFL preseason. Like, what dupes you more as a fan?
I mean, first of all,
them, yeah.
Well, the NBA Rookie League, I mean, it's not called the Rookie League anymore, but it's basically, they're not even playing veterans. So it's got to be the least meaningful, right? Like spring training is veteran against veteran. NFL preseason is sometimes veteran versus veteran. This is just rookies and journeymen. And like, I don't know why we read into this. And I'm all into it today, but generally, it's got to be the most overrated, right?
Catch the fever of Summer League, y'all.
But I think you get tricked the most in Summer League. Bronny James had that big dunk. It's going to be everywhere. We don't even know who else was on the court.
Kevin Knox 3 years ago had one great game, and we thought that he was going to save the Knicks, and that, guy
Kevin
didn't
Knox
do a
is
damn
the
thing.
one. He's the one that ruined the Summer League.
I think he had some help.
I got to tell you, I saw this video. I was telling Bogus this weekend. I don't even know if it was doctored. I need some fans to call in and tell me if this was true or not. It was Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Rookie League. Dominant, as you'd expect. He had a beautiful jump shot, and then he got to the team, and they changed it.
Ooh.
And it totally fell apart.
Wasn't altered. That's not an altered video. Yeah, he had a jump shot in that Summer League, and then he joined the Bucks, and then he had a trainer teach him how to shoot a jumper, and then you have the result they have now with Giannis and his jump shot.
It is crazy. I have to show you this video. It was a very normal-looking, very good form, and how that guy fell in the draft based on his Summer League footage. Maybe that's one guy where you could say he was dominant in Summer League, he's going to be dominant in the pros.
Also, the other thing with Giannis is that he's grown 150 pounds of muscle since then, and, muscle with the jump shot doesn't really correlate well. If you gain muscle, your jump shot's going to go off. So,
That's my problem.
Yeah, sure.
No.
So I think that's what happened with
layoff.
Giannis.
Yeah.
But
throwing the weights around.
I mean, obviously, though, to be realistic, that you can tell something from Summer League. Like, for example, Ace Bailey was on the other side of VJ Edgecombe. Like, he looks like he has a lot of work to do. I'll be totally honest.
They're just happy he showed up.
Yeah, I know. But you remember,
I left on vacation, and that was like maybe not a totally real thing.
I told you before you left, there was 100% chance he was showing up. Nobody's turning down that paycheck because they don't like Salt Lake City, which is gorgeous, by the way. He landed on the plane. I was like, this is heaven. I don't know. He just couldn't play in Vegas.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like the guy's been misguided from day one, it seems like. So who could tell what he was going to do? But at least he did show up. I think the preseason NFL can be very deceptive also. I'm just thinking about that one Kenny Pickett game where he looked really good. And I think the Steelers were like, we've done it. We found the heir apparent to Big Ben. And then that never happened.
Again, evidence B, Kevin Knox. Sorry, NBA. And VJ Edgecombe, my phone was blowing up. He's like, wow, we have the next superstar. He was 1 for 7 from three-point land. I do want to point that out. Summer League is by far the most overrated.
Oh, boy. 888-710-4ISN. Thank you, folks. 888-710-4476. Coming up, the Mount Olympus project. Not over, because we have to do the Mount Olympus of Mount Olympus.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
The Mount Olympus of every great sports city in this country and parts of Canada. Welcome to the Maggie and Perloff Show. That's been our project for the last month. And Pearl, it was a resounding success. And we only have one more Mount Olympus, the four sports gods from every great city. We only have one more thing really to accomplish, but it's going to be the hardest decision yet.
Yes, this is. I. By the way, you said that you already have your picks. I do not.
Okay,
go ahead.
So
explain what it is.
The final sort of I don't know, the final moment and the final like peak for the Mount Olympus project has to be the Mount Olympus of Mount Olympus. So when we were doing the four sports gods of every city, well, now you got to do just the four sports gods. Period. End of story.
Bogues, would you like to bring up the issue that has already been raised about this?
Okay, so you guys talked about this a little bit on Friday.
Yes.
When I was still on vacation. So
there's a major issue, Maggie, with what you just described.
Okay, well, Bogush, thanks for coming back in here. Yeah. What's going on?
Well, so this was mentioned on the air Friday, and I immediately said, I'm done. I got my four. And I said one name, Pele.
Ah.
And then in the break, Perloff mentioned a different name to me that should be in his four, which was not in my first four. That person, like Pele, now that I think of it, was not picked on any city Mount Olympi. So
if it's a Mount Olympus,
they were on a Mount Olympus to begin with. Are they eligible to be on the final Mount Olympus? Did you have to win a preliminary round to be on this on this bad boy?
Man, that's a great question. In my opinion, no.
But it's the Mount Olympus of Mount Olympuses,
right.
So we're just ignoring all the previous work on Mount Olympuses?
Well, I have two people on my Mount Olympus of Mount Olympus, just the four sports gods, period, that did not go under any previous Mount Olympus because we didn't either do the city or the city wasn't applicable.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I have the same issue.
Right. Yeah. So I'm wondering if his name rhymes with Muhammad Shmali.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of them, right? So we're gonna
You
wait.
mean Matches Malay?
Yes, Shmash Shmlay. We're trying not to give it all away, but when we do the Mount Olympus and Mount Olympus, yeah, there's some guys and gals who may not have applied to one city. Now Pele, I had not thought of.
Yeah, and Manny immediately said Messi after I said that, and we didn't do Argentina or Miami or Paris.
Well, we did do Miami, but he didn't make it.
Yeah, he didn't make Miami.
Also, he'd be on the Barcelona list, not Paris or Miami.
I'm just off the top of my head. Sure. But the person that Perloff mentioned was a legitimate candidate.
We did play in American cities that we did.
Right.
Okay.
And
well,
he did not make the cut.
One of them.
Okay, so I think a couple ground rules. No, you do not have to have been on a previous Mount Olympus to make the Mount Olympus Mount Olympus. It can be anybody. Because if you're going to go worldwide, the globe is yours. I know. And I think that's what it's got to be. Period. End of story.
Wait,
and it's going to be all sports, all eras, all everything. It's just the four sports gods, period. I don't know how cleaner and more clearly to put it.
I think 4 is going to be so hard. Oh, my God. And by the way, I don't even know what city was Pele born in.
Rio, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think he made the New York one from playing on the Metro Stars.
He was born in Staten Island.
The Cosmos, excuse me.
Where was he born?
Staten Island.
The Staten Island of Brazil. We don't know. Let's just end it with that. So we're going to do that on Thursday. But
I think this is going to be really controversial, Maggie. You think your list is obvious. I think people are going to really disagree with both of our lists because I think the hardest part about a Mount Olympus is cutting it to 4. We ran into this, for example, Boston, Chicago, these sports cities. The names we left off are incredible. Yeah. I mean, legends, like gods. And we didn't put Ted Williams jumps to mind.
It's a tough cut. It's a tough cut. But this is the task, and this is the final. This is like this is like beating Mike Tyson at the end. Mike Tyson could be on your Mount Olympus. He's not on mine.
It's also the greatest consolation prize of all time. You might have lost Boston or New York or Chicago, but if you find your way on the Mount Olympus of Mount Olympus, then those other guys can bite you.
Yeah. See, this is where I was wondering if you were going with that. Like, this is my ultimate moment. Not to make it about me, but I lost maybe every single poll to Andrew Perloff.
You won a couple.
You
won one last week, I feel like.
No.
I thought you did.
I think I swept them last week, but which one?
There was one I thought last week that Maggie had the lead initially, or in a good...
St. Louis, maybe?
No, I beat you 81-19 on St. Louis.
How did you beat me? Kurt Warner? That was the controversial pick from St. Louis?
Oh, no, maybe I didn't beat you that bad, but I think I got you. We have to double check. St. Louis, did not like mine. I went 4 Cardinals just because it worked out that way. Maybe you did get it, St. Louis. I did not like that at all. Oh, you got me. Were you here for Chicago?
Yes.
Yeah, you got me good on Chicago.
Curacao.
Curacao?
Anyway, in the meantime, we will get to the Mount Olympus, the 4 sports gods period. That will be on Thursday. But today, we still have more for you. Andrew, hit the music.
It's time to feast your ears on Maggie and Perloff's Mount Olympus.
Okay, so as we lead up to the Mount Olympus, we are going to go back through some things. And today we have the top 5 most controversial Mount Olympus picks over the last couple weeks.
Perloff went all Cardinals. We're going all Maggie today.
Well, Perloff makes it on here.
The building was not just me. The building was talking about like, what's Maggie going to do today? Because we didn't know what you were revealing, and you weren't here to defend your picks, which really put you. That's kind of why I did crush you in St. Louis, by the way. You couldn't defend your picks, so that helped me a lot.
Yeah, well, I did feel a little bad that it was kind of like, I guess, up to Bogusch or EJ, who are both filling in for me to defend my not putting Jokic on the Denver Mount Olympus and stuff like that. I mean, I have all my reasons for it.
Forgot about that one. Stand by.
Dude, I stand by that one.
The guy you put on instead of him?
Yeah,
oh, boy.
The guy Jokic, who looks 20 times happier watching some horse race in Serbia yesterday that looked like it happened in the back alley of some kind of OTB. He's happier doing that than he is playing basketball, everybody. He didn't even want to go to the parade.
He did look very happy.
Thank you. It's harness racing. It's so bizarre, but whatever. I'm not going to yuck his yums.
You put Patrick Roy over Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
And you're trying to defend it. Just take the L.
No, I'm not taking the L because Roy is still one of the great goaltenders of all time when he won the Stanley Cup. So, no. And Jokic, again, would rather be with horses than the Denver faithful. All right?
You really think...
Nuggets fans, first ever title, and he didn't even want to be there to celebrate with the fans.
Right, but so maybe Denver's not on Jokic's Mount Olympus, but Denver loves the
dude. Does not the God in the community, I don't think, like other guys. Not the legendary. It's got to be more than just winning, dudes. And by the way...
I think anybody cares about Patrick Roy right now in Denver, which is mainly a Broncos town anyway?
Oh, I put Elway on there.
I hear you. I mean, Roy, obviously, much stronger in Montreal.
Why are you pronouncing the R? Patrick Roy. You pronounce the R? Have we been doing it wrong this whole time?
No, it's Patrick Roy. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not Patrick Roy?
Now that guy was good.
He was American, too.
Yeah, he had 6 years. I'm sorry, 6 years in Colorado.
Yeah, and how eventful were they?
Jokic has been there already. Like, how many has he been there now? Like 10? How long has Jokic been there?
All right.
Got to be like a decade now.
Well, I mean, listen, you're right. I mean, the poll results were that one you were kind of close on. That was 82-18.
Okay. I don't know. Did that make the top 5 most controversial moments and picks though from the Mount Olympus project? Pearl, you want to get us started here? What do you want me to do?
Okay. Well, I have the 4 strongest. So I didn't even put Joker on that list. To me.
Okay.
But I'll go in reverse order.
Okay.
I think number 4 out of your 4 out of yours was
5.
Vince. Okay, Vince Carter not on Toronto. I did not understand.
Okay, I'm glad we brought this up.
Yeah.
So I was not here to defend this, and I feel very strongly about Vince Carter not being on my Mount Olympus from Toronto.
Why is that?
Because the ending was as ugly as it could possibly be. And maybe we've made amends now 20 years later because time heals everything. But I couldn't do it. And I did that because the people of Toronto deserve better on that exit. I know how influential Vince Carter was for basketball in Canada. But when you have a guy asking for a trade, not just, and you know what, even that could be forgivable. What's not forgivable is quitting on the team, which Vince Carter did. Listen, I love Vince Carter, but let's not paper mache over history like it didn't happen. Quit on the team, loafing on the court. There's allegations he was giving opponents the plays. I mean, you're Benedict Arnold at that point. We didn't put James Harden on the Houston Mount Olympus, and he might have been there if not for quitting on the team and on the court. So I'm glad if it's all good now with Vince Carter and that a couple tribute videos could make everything all good. But that was an ugly exit. Toronto's a proud sports town. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, but if we're talking about sports gods, I mean, he's a god. And he obviously, just what he did for Canada basketball is unbelievable.
Right, but this is Toronto. I understand.
Yeah, Toronto. We're all from Toronto.
And we have
the
a
East
lot
Coast basketball, yeah.
All the guys now who are watching in the NBA Finals, I understand how important Toronto is now to the NBA. But that was an ugly ending. And
I am not disagreeing with that, but to me, like actually, I talked to a couple people in Toronto, not Richard Deitch, who actually had Kyle Lowry over him, but they're like, oh, well, obviously you start with Vince Carter. Because the problem with Toronto, and Bogues was here for this, is their hockey team.
Why is that a problem?
Because it's the Maple Leafs, and there are a lot of hockey players that easily fit onto a Mount Olympus, and they don't have them. Am I wrong, Bogues?
Yeah, it was a very... It should have been the problem should have been too many hockey players.
Yes, and it's Toronto
because it's the Maple Leafs, and you're instead settling on one,
and one that was sort of settling on.
Yeah,
we both had Sundin on there.
Yeah,
it was just not easy. Like Montreal, we could have gone 20 deep with hockey players.
You could have had Patrick Roy on that one too.
So to be honest, though, this is not the first time we ran into something like that. Because there should have been multiple Cubs from the 2016 World Series team also on Mount Olympus, but none made it on. We didn't put John Lester on. We didn't put
Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo.
We didn't put any of those guys on. And it's weird because that's such an influential moment to break a curse like that.
Yeah, but Toronto hasn't broken the curse.
No, but I'm saying you're saying Toronto, hockey town. Clearly there should be a lot of hockey players. I'm saying Cubs, baseball, broke this curse. That happens in some cities where what you think doesn't actually line up with the Mount Olympus.
Wow, right. But the Cubs, I mean, the Maple Leafs have been there a long, long time. You would have thought that they had like a Bobby Holt kind of guy.
And then there's Dave Stieb.
And then Dave Stieb.
Oh, yeah, Dave Stieb. So to me, not putting Vince Carter on there was crazy. I'll also do, not crazy, but I thought that was controversial. Number 3, Steve Yzerman over Gordie Howe. That's famous.
Yeah, apparently everyone at the car dealership or
bought
his new Honda. Thank you, Bay Ridge Honda.
What was your thinking again? Can you explain it like I'm a third grader?
Yes. So we did the Mount Olympus of Detroit, obviously, and I put Steve Yzerman over Gordie Howe because not only was Steve Yzerman also a champion in that city, he also continued to help the team to win titles as a front office executive. Multiple areas of the franchise where he was a contributing factor, massive factor, and a champion. So that's where I gave him the nod over Gordie Howe.
But the same that Steve Yzerman was an executive, Gordie Howe was still playing for the Red Wings. I mean, in fact, I think Steve Yzerman signed Gordie Howe to bring him in. That one, it's an interesting choice, but I felt like Gordie Howe was probably maybe number 1 for Detroit was the feedback we got. I mean, we obviously had Barry Sanders on there, but there was a lot of Gordie Howe love, as there should be. And it's not like you were dissing Gordie Howe, but you didn't understand when I went Joe Louis, and I had the ultimate trump card because it's called the Joe Louis Arena.
I know. That was early on in the Mount Olympus project where I wasn't sure what we were doing with the guys who were not on teams that played in that city, who were just from that city. Okay. So I rectified that as the
Okay. My number 2 most controversial Maggie choice was Gary Payton for Portland, Oregon.
That's number 2?
Yes. To me, I think you got because the number one to me was more egregious, but Gary Payton played at Oregon State. You really wanted to get to Oregon State. I think you force a square peg into a round hole with that particular logic.
Okay, maybe upon further review, maybe I did force it a little bit, but I always get so sick of, you don't have the 4 major pro sports in Portland, so It does give you a little bit more elbow room, and you put even Steve Prefontaine, right?
Yeah.
On yours. So you can actually get some different kind of characters into a city like Portland. And I always feel like Oregon State is closer to Portland than Eugene. Corvallis is closer than Eugene, but it doesn't get the same treatment because, Corvallis, they don't have the Nike dollars and they don't have the fancy stuff as fancy as Eugene. So I wanted to make sure that Oregon State was represented. Maybe I went a little too far and shoehorning Gary Payton in, but I'm glad he's on that list.
Yeah.
Even though it cost me dearly
You are
in the eyes of most people.
But my problem was that Gary Payton was a superstar for the Seattle Supersonics, who was at a time the greatest rival of Portland. So they might actually hate him in Portland because of that. And he's obviously famously from Oakland. So I just felt like that was a funny little border war there. Okay, but my number one, I'm not putting Johnny Unitas on Baltimore. I still don't understand. How could you do Baltimore and not do Johnny U? I even thought that was a little bit more surprising to me with Gary Payton. I just assumed that he would be on both of our lists.
Okay, well, this was, again, very tough. You don't want to leave off somebody who is a legend in that way. But I feel like, in my opinion, Baltimore is a baseball town. And I put 3 Orioles on this list. Cal Ripken Jr., Brooks Robinson, and I put Jim Palmer on the list. Now, Jim Palmer might have been the weird one, even though he won multiple Cy Youngs and won a title there, but he's also been a superstar broadcaster for the last 25 years. He's still a part of the soundtrack of people's everyday lives, 162 games a year. And then I put Ray Lewis on.
Are you really yelling at us about Jim Palmer right now? What are you doing?
Because I put 3 Orioles on, and I realized I lost this poll 70-30.
But I mean, Baltimore, well, here's the thing. I think I went generally a little older than you. Baltimore obviously was a football town, first and foremost. I mean, if you ever watched the movie Diner, where Barry Levinson, the director, grew up there.
Yeah.
A guy wants to get married, but first his fiance has to answer a Colts quiz correctly. Like, it was the Colts. It was tragedy that they left, and it was stupid. But then, I don't even know that I'm not there, but I mean, clearly the Ravens are a massive, massive deal there. So I can't say that it's a baseball town necessarily. So Orioles have also been really kind of hot and cold the last 30 years or so.
Well, I put Ray Lewis on the list, just like you did.
Yeah, I just think Johnny Unitas even over Ray Lewis, personally. But again, I went older with a lot of my picks in, so that might be the difference there.
I'm going with
what do you got,
young,
a attractive guy?
I would say the controversial one for you, and I think this is actually one of the polls I won, if I'm not mistaken, leaving off John Thompson and Joe Gibbs from your Washington, D.C. Mount Olympus.
Because it's sports gods, and I rarely pick coaches. The athletes are the gods, not the coaches. Anybody, I could coach.
You don't think John Thompson was a god there?
John Thompson probably, because he was so big. But generally, like, I could have been Joe Gibbs.
Easy.
Sure.
Easy.
I mean, what is Bill Belichick was a JV level athlete just like me. You put too many coaches, in my opinion. Sports gods, they have to be like the Greek gods themselves, these ridiculous specimens who are muscular and big, not Joe Gibbs.
So no Andy Reid looking dudes?
No Andy Reid. Oh, did we put Andy Reid on KC? No, we did not.
No. But, I did put a lot of coaches on, not just Belichick, who I put on my Boston Mount Olympus, which was didn't like.
I heard that one well.
Yeah, no, people hated that.
I was on vacation.
I put, obviously, those 2 coaches, Joe Gibbs and John Thompson. I put Don Shula on my Miami list, which you did as well.
Too, right.
I put Herb Brooks on my Minneapolis list, which I obviously lost this poll by a gajillion. I thought Herb Brooks is an American hero, everybody. No?
Herb Brooks was good. That was a very interesting pick. I just think you left some pretty good people off that list, too. But we didn't put John Wooden on there.
Wooden was a mistake.
I don't know if that was a mistake.
Very hard. LA was very hard.
Well, that was the thing. You have to realize it's a function of the city. So Wooden may or may not have. You would have had to take off like Magic or something. See, that's the thing. Players to me are more iconic and make this sports guy. Like, we're going to do are Mount Olympus and Mount Olympus is, you're not putting a coach on there.
Maybe.
Get out of here.
Tom Coughlin.
Get out of here.
Marv Levy.
Marv Levy. yeah, we didn't do Buffalo.
Listen,
Sean
getting to the
McDermott.
Super Bowl is just as impressive. Let's go to Brian, who's in Vancouver. Brian, you want to defend me on one of my more controversial picks?
Yeah, you hit all the points. I was going to call last week, but then I thought I will wait until you come back. But you said a lot of the things that I was going to bring up about Vince Carter, and there's a lot of people from Toronto here, and it is so back and forth. And I think the biggest thing, like you said, giving the opposition play the plays on the court. Like, this guy was run out of town. Like, he turned so bad on Toronto that it isn't even funny. And if it wasn't for Kawhi coming there and then winning a championship, his jersey would not be in the rafters. I think it was like, we won a championship, everything's good, let's celebrate everything that's good in Toronto, let's bring back one of the flashiest players we ever had. I can give you that Vince Carter definitely changed things for SGA and a bunch of players that came into the NBA and brought light to it in Canada for basketball. But even to a more relevant point, I'll use Mitch Marner in hockey. This guy's the fastest Leaf to 700 points. He probably would have been the all-time leading Leaf scorer if he wasn't traded to Vegas. And he was kind of run out of town. Like, people hated this guy, loved this guy. There's reports of people throwing garbage on his property, accosting his wife in supermarkets.
Oh, geez.
The fan base loves him. The fan base hates him. And it's going to be the same thing. If he wins a championship in Vegas, there's going to be a lot of people that don't like him. But arguably, he's probably the best Leafs. People will say Matthews, but really it's Marner. And I think the same thing with Carter. If you talk to a lot of people, I think if Kawhi would have re-signed in Toronto, won another championship, made it to a finals, or signed a long-term deal, even a short-term deal, if he was there 3 or 4 more years, I think Kawhi would have been the guy, not Carter.
Brian, thank you for that and appreciate it. Yeah, Kawhi would have absolutely been a slam dunk over Carter, no pun intended, if he had stayed, but he didn't. He didn't stay. He was like the ultimate mercenary. And
by the way, I know Vince stayed a lot longer than Kawhi. Kawhi did 1 year there.
It was a meaningful year. So you had Richard Deitch on. He said Kyle Lowry
He said Kyle Lowry's really popular in Toronto.
I could see it.
Yeah, that made sense. Yeah, Vince Carter, you do make a great point, but I feel like the nature of a sports god, like a guy who can actually has the power of flight, that's important. I do think his influence was huge, and I know there are a lot of Toronto people who love Vince Carter.
But I think to Brian's point, if they don't win, can he actually walk back into, does he walk into a restaurant or something anywhere in Toronto and people are like, oh, you're still a god? I think they still hold a grudge.
I think they love Vince Carter in Toronto, like the people.
No, but I'm saying, but now because the team has won something,
Yeah.
so it's like all's forgiven.
No.
Like what Brian
my friend
said.
Josh in my Saturday morning run has said he's from Toronto, worship Vince Carter. He always like, oh my God, we all played hoops because of Vince Carter.
They shoved a bunch of money in his face.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Kyle Lowry is a nice player who's, according to our former boss, Spike Eskin, going to re-sign with the Sixers this week.
Okay.
Yeah, Spike out there sort of breaking news-ish, I think.
52-year-old.
But Kyle Lowry's, I don't think that's a sports god. I mean, to me, he's like a good player.
I mean, yeah, in the grand scale, but I mean, if you take a look at what he means to Toronto, sticking out in Toronto, surviving the trade that saw DeMar DeRozan leave.
It's how you define sports god.
Yeah, well, I guess. But I mean, in that city, I mean, yeah, Kyle Lowry in the grand scheme of the NBA will probably end up being a forgotten player in 40, 50 years. But I mean, in Toronto, his name will live on forever.
Because I played club floor hockey at Fordham. Is that how this worked? Thank you.
I'm going back over some of these polls. Like, how did I lose these
Are you serious?
badly?
Oh my God.
I'm serious. How did I lose Cincinnati this badly? Because I didn't put Pete Rose on there.
What was the final tally?
73-27.
Damn.
Because I had the audacity to put Barry Larkin on.
I think
Born and raised Cincinnati, MVP, won a World Series. How dare I?
You can't be serious.
I agree. How dare you?
I asked Perloff last week where your kind of wild card picks were coming from if you were trying to, spur controversy, content. And he said, no, these are your picks and you want to win and it's killing you that you're not that
I
you're
didn't say
not
it was
It is
killing
killing me. No, but here's the irony is that you killed me for putting Gary Payton on the Portland one, and
Rightly
I
so, yes,
and I
rightly
didn't
so.
put him on Seattle.
Mhm.
I won the Seattle one. That's the one I won. Ken
Wait.
Griffey, Ichiro, Steve Largent, Marshawn Lynch got me a W in Seattle.
What did I put on Seattle?
You
because I put
Ken
Russell Wilson.
Griffey,
Yeah.
Ichiro, Gary Payton, and Russell Wilson.
No, I knew the second I put Russ up there. I think Russell Wilson deserves that spot, knowing that no one on the poll is going to vote for Russell Wilson because everybody can't stand that guy. I was well aware. I took the L for coming. That was an anti-Russ vote. I'm sorry. That's why you won that. As usual, basically, Russell Wilson hurt me as bad as he's about to hurt your Giants.
Hey, now.
888-710-4ISN. So those are the top 5 most controversial moments from the Maggie Perloff Mount Olympus project. Hello. On Thursday, we will do the Mount Olympus of Mount Olympus. Just the 4 sports gods, period. Didn't think about Pele. Gonna be honest.
No, trust me.
Forgotten about that guy.
This is going to be way harder than you think.
They had to go back to the drawing board here. Okay.
Any other soccer players? Did you forget that soccer was a thing,
Not that
Maggie?
many people in the world like soccer, right? I don't know what the latest numbers are.
All right.
I've heard soccer, basketball, rugby, they are all down in the dumps when it comes to everybody else.
Coming up, Deion Sanders is going to do something unusual. at
Huge
the
in Japan.
Big 12 meetings. Yeah, next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Not here.
There's a roof.
You're good.
Oh, Globe Lights. Maggie, you didn't tell me there's a roof. Not here.
There's a roof.
You're good.
Oh, Globe Lights. Maggie, you didn't tell me there's a roof. Not here.
There's a roof.
He's got something to say, infinity's mice. He's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC. What a shame. Just JJ Redick's wine ain't the same. Peter Bellotti is getting upset. Maggie Perloff, can you hear his plea? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Set his spirit free. He misses Mar. Co-stars and the crew, those were the days. Pete cries out, boo, boo. Bring it back, or can't you see? Bring back the NBA.
3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Maggie, you didn't tell me there's a roof. Not here.
There's a roof.
You're good.
Oh, Globe Lights. Not here. Not here.
There's a roof.
Not here.
There's a roof. There's a roof.
Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining.
Hot here.
There's a roof. Roof. There's a roof.
45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds.
There's a roof. There's a
Break
roof.
ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. I hope everyone had a really fun July 4th weekend. I got to hang out not just with my family and friends, but my work friends. It was so awesome. I saw Manny. You know, it turned out I had a few extra tickets, so I just handed them out, 2 for free to this father and son who like soccer outside the stadium. Yeah. And I was like, if there was anyone around who would have wanted those tickets here, I was trying to give them away. I was running around the office saying, does anybody want these tickets?
It's true.
But everyone was busy. Oh, hey, Andrew Bogus.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Nah, I'm
How
just
are
kidding.
you,
I
bud?
didn't have extra tickets. You were definitely in my consideration for the next ask.
So you were.
So if you had 7 instead of 6, I would have been in?
Nah.
I mean, what was Andrew doing? Bored up for today?
Yeah, where was EJ and one of his brothers and his parents?
Yeah.
I was going to say, so you got to go to the FIFA Club World Cup with you, your wife, your 2 daughters, and then Manny and his dad.
Manny's dad, rock star.
Which is just awesome. I was wondering about
I have
this
a dad.
because Bogut and his son really like soccer. And then I was thinking about it, I was like, man, we've got EJ is not only has EJ has 3 brothers, and we know his dad and his mom are huge sports fans.
Yeah. No, my parents are both huge
And
sports
your
fans.
parents are huge sports fans, but they wouldn't come up for a soccer match, would they?
No,
They're more
no.
Eagles only.
No, my dad is really into the Sixers.
Okay, so Eagles and Sixers.
Yeah, Manny's dad, by the way.
Like,
Can I just tell you real quick?
This is where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Who gets like next dibs on something we're going to? Because I'm like, oh, should you bring EJ's dad now the next time you get Knicks courtside tickets?
No. Those now, because my kids want to see celebrities, those tickets are gold.
Got it.
Damn it.
Your dad made a joke that I didn't understand. I have to be honest.
He does often. Yeah, sometimes he'll do jokes that I don't understand, but which one was it?
He was wearing a Penn State Nittany Lions hat.
That's right, yes.
And you could explain. I'm sure there's an explanation. He said this hat cost me $200,000.
Yeah, because that was my brother's tuition.
Yeah.
Oh, your brother went there. I did not know that. So I know that's how you're a Penn State fan.
That's how I'm in the cult, correct.
But EJ's mom went to Penn State.
Yes. And she's a huge Penn State fan.
So that's where I got all confused.
You
I
didn't get the joke this hat cost me $200,000.
I did, but I was like, Manny didn't go to Penn State.
That's right. No,
But
no,
his
the other one
dad
did.
was implying, like,
shorter,
his dad
fatter,
looked
older
right
one.
at Manny. He looked right at Manny and said, this cost me $200,000. I'm like, Manny.
Yeah, no, he was looking for me for a laugh, a little consolation laugh, so that you would laugh too.
I was like, Manny, I think your dad thinks you went to Penn State. Were you pulling some elaborate ruse?
I actually know someone who did that.
Yeah. And I didn't even know Manny had a brother, by the way. That was also.
What do you mean you know Manny had a brother?
My short, fat older brother?
We talk.
I
didn't
always
listen
make
to that
jokes
part.
about his weight. Do you listen to the show? It's a good show.
Your name's on it. We talk about how Manny calls his brother fat, and then we finally saw him on a picture on Instagram, and he looks completely normal.
A little chubby.
Oh, now I remember that.
Come on, guys.
Hey, I said, hey, how's the doctor's visit? That doctor told me I'm the healthiest obese person he's ever seen. So do what you wish with that information.
Yeah, in my head,
that
actually,
one.
Manny's mom went to Penn State because it was EJ's mom who went to Penn State.
My mother can barely speak English, so no, she did
So
not go
are
to Penn
you and
State.
EJ like root for Penn State football together or no?
Probably not, because he's all about the U. Me and EJ's mom would probably get together and, start drinking because of Drew Aller.
EJ's mom also a big Raider fan.
Yeesh.
Really?
Yeah.
What a random sports family.
Yeah. Well, Pearl, on Friday, we started to kind of deep dive into Manny. We wondered why Manny rooted for a different soccer team than his dad, who's his best friend.
Oh, my God.
Now I'm wondering if all of this body shaming from your brother comes from the fact that maybe did you have to go to Buffalo State because all the college money went to Penn State and you feel
a little
slighted?
bit, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Also, my brother getting his braces and me not getting straight teeth also might play a factor to my bullying of him at
They
such
played
an advanced
favorites
age.
with the orthodontic work?
Oh, did they ever? Oh, yeah. Hey, there was definitely a favorite for the first 21 years of each other's
listen,
life.
He didn't need to be chubby with crooked teeth. Let's be honest.
They threw him a bone.
So instead, he's chubby with straight teeth, and I'm skinny with crooked teeth.
And you went to Buffalo State with Peter Schwartz.
Skinny-ish.
I am jacked.
Wait, can you put on the poll? What would you rather be? Skinny with jacked up teeth or fat with straight
that
teeth?
old poll. That question.
Age-old question.
We're doing that again, Meg.
If one more person asked me that
They
today.
ask that every day in the orthodontist world.
What's your choice, Maggie? So we know if we win, whether you win or lose this.
Yeah,
poll.
if you were in a
I'm going
bar.
with Manny's brother. I'm just praying that I'm the firstborn.
Oh, man.
No, I'm with Manny 100% on everything. I'm actually very jealous that you got to hang out with Manny and his dad.
So someone, I think it might have been Boast, pointed out what a crazy psychological thing to root for the arch rival of your dad's team. Like,
Yep.
That's sports Oedipus right there.
I can't stand Real Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the kid who rooted for the Cowboys where I grew up in Philadelphia. That's really, like, most people follow their dads. Like, what was going on?
Oh, hey, man.
He didn't get the braces.
Speaking of crooked teeth, blame Ronaldinho because I saw that dude control a soccer ball and I fell in love with the sport.
Okay, so it was a player.
Oh, yeah, it was Ronaldinho and those. What a smile.
He could have paid for your braces.
He definitely could have paid for my braces. Are you kidding me? Could have paid for his too, but I digress.
What else did you learn about Manny from his
Manny
dad?
can curse and scream in Spanish in front of 1 million people and not even think twice about it.
Well, that's not a skill.
It is. No, it totally is. There were people standing in front, and Manny let them have it. I mean, it was. But the fact that he was yelling in Spanish confused them, and they were really they were down immediately.
They were standing blocking our view.
Yeah, blocking the view.
Well, they didn't respond in English, so I mean, my brain just said, "Hey, they don't understand English. They probably understand Spanish." So I told them to sit down.
Yeah, because when Mbappe came in at the end of the game, everybody was standing to watch everything he was doing, so you couldn't really see the action.
And then he scored an overhead kick, and it was a beauty.
Perloff was telling me all about it.
Golazo.
Yeah, it was super fun. Manny is, I highly recommend. Bogues, you might be fun to go to soccer with, but Manny.
Oh, yes, we'll never know.
Manny was.
And that was it.
Manny knew every player on the pitch. He knew the backstory. He
Bogues,
knew.
you'll get an NYCFC game against Montreal.
Wait, can I say something with not have it get political, or is that going to be impossible?
Probably going to be impossible.
It felt like last night I thought the game was in Mexico, the Gold Cup final. It was in Houston, and I was like, this game is happening at Stadium Azteca in Mexico City, and nope, Houston, Texas.
Funny enough, Estadio Azteca has a new name, but I digress.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it does. That's the thing as well when it comes to United States, Mexico. I mean, even though the games happen in the United States more often than not, it's very pro-Mexican, those crowds.
And I understand because Mexico has a longer, prouder soccer history than the United States does.
Sure.
But I was thinking about this for the World Cup, and I know it's going to be everyone from around the world. Mm-hmm. I understand that, but is the United States going to have any home field advantage at all?
Not like usual. And this is a problem for them all of the time and not just against Mexico. If you their important U.S. men's games are only played in a handful of places where they know they're not going to get outdrawn by the opponent. Like they almost never play around here because they know there's such a diverse population.
You mean New York? Not New York, not LA, probably Kansas City, right?
They don't play. They don't play at the Red Bull Arena in Jersey. They don't play at MetLife if they don't have to, because they know that whoever else they're playing, if it's a Central or a Latin American country, they're gonna show up and be louder than American fans.
So where can we play to get a home field advantage?
Well,
So
I'll tell you
Kansas City
they
is
play
one
in
of them, right?
Columbus a lot.
Columbus, actually.
Okay.
Columbus. I think St. Louis is also kind of becoming a place like that. Nashville, some of these soccer-specific stadiums.
Yeah.
But I mean, USA, Mexico, I found out yesterday, they've only played 3 times in their history in New York, New Jersey. Just 3 times.
That's crazy.
Well, I wanted to save this, but I think I might have an in on 4 tickets to the World Cup. So Maggie Gray, Manny, Andrew Scarpacci, and me are all going next year to the World Cup, where we will cheer on the U.S.
It's a whole other Andrew.
I don't know about cheering about the U.S.
Well, Manny, yeah, but you're still fun to have there, so I'll bring you. So us 4, yay!
Sports.
Oh, Bogues, darn it.
Bogues,
Can't get a 5th.
I heard Bogues is busy that day anyway.
Yeah. Aren't you coaching a Little League game?
He's going to be sick, probably.
Let's go, England. Oh, man, that's going to be super fun.
No, I'm kidding. I don't have those tickets, but I would appreciate those tickets. And
Well, let's stand by.
Yeah.
We can hope.
yeah, that is going to be fun. Although I got to be honest, the Giant Stadium or MetLife Stadium, a little small. I'm surprised that they're not going to one of the massive.
Hold on.
Well, they're playing the final in Jerry World.
No, they're playing
the final here.
Oh,
at
no,
MetLife.
you're right. They're playing the final.
Yeah, it's like, what,
But
80,000?
That's 80,000, yeah. And I mean, there were 76,611 when we went. I mean,
Yeah,
that place
I was wondering,
full.
but I think SoFi and Dallas, I thought were a little bigger. So that is going to be a hard ticket to get. That was my only point. It's going to be crazy. I don't know. Does World Cup is it more of a wine and cheese crowd? Is it less of a rooting crowd?
No, it's more like fireworks and slurs.
But how are actual fans going to get into this? This ticket's going to be so hard for the final.
We're going to find out together.
Yep.
What are they
that's
called?
what I mean. You know what I mean.
Remember that?
Well, yeah,
They're outlawed now.
Well,
right?
that's the 2010 South African noisemaker thing that they had. They haven't really have that since.
I feel like it's going to be slightly corporate.
Yeah, that's you're probably not wrong about that. I mean, I really do think that the average fan will get priced out of this World Cup, and it will be one of the more corporate World Cups that we have ever seen.
That's a bummer.
It is.
But the other cool thing about the World Cup, it'd be cool to see the USA play, but it's almost cool if you see anyone play.
Oh, big time. I would go watch Algeria play Morocco.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
That's a big
I
rivalry.
totally agree.
I just
That's
French. Yeah, them too. I would watch the French too.
Bogish got anything for us?
No.
Yeah, I can tell you're bummed.
Yeah.
Was it actually down to you versus Manny?
I ask him, not me.
Yeah.
Nope, there was never a thought.
It's a long way from Long Island to New Jersey. You have to admit, folks.
It is not. It is not.
Now we're doing Long Island traffic?
I mean, it's not an easy place to get to.
Yeah. I was
my God.
honestly, was part of you really. It's not easy for you to go from where you are in the New York area to MetLife. And I know Manny's dad was a Real Madrid fan. So I'm not embarrassed by this pick. And you have to admit, you would have taken Manny.
And you've got I would have taken Manny, yes. I hate Manny. Yeah. I would take Manny.
And did your daughters have a good time?
Yeah, they
And your
loved it.
wife?
They loved it. Yeah, they all loved it. I mean, live soccer is awesome.
Yeah.
Seats were incredible.
Oh.
It's really cool. The other thing too, and I didn't know this, the front seats at MetLife Stadium are like cushioned and gorgeous. It's like a lazy boy. It was incredible.
That's what your PSL money is for.
Well,
The
as you
personal
get
seat
up in the
license.
stadium, the seats aren't as nice. These were deluxe. I'm like, this is nicer than the chair in my living room. It was cool. The crowd was great. 100% Real Madrid. But again, I worry the World Cup is going to be sterile and not give U.S. that advantage.
Well, if last night's Gold Cup was any indication, I don't think they're going to have that home court, home pitch, home field, whatever it is. Okay, lots more to do. We mentioned the Cleveland Browns. What's going on with the quarterback situation? We got a little more clarity on who the players want to be their starting QB. That's next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back to Maggie Perloff show. So good to be back, although I missed a lot, including Perloff and Manny becoming best friends while I was gone.
No, you were here for that. That was the Rangers game. That's what Manny and I decided.
That was a good one. That seemed like a good time.
And actually, I'm kind of irrelevant because Manny's the fun one.
We know.
Yeah, I'm a witness to Manny's sports fandom. Like, I'm more comfortable probably in a press box than in the crowd. When things are going crazy at a soccer match, like, you need to bring a lot of energy. I'm not great at that.
Oh, you should take me to a Knick game.
But Manny got to bring his dad also. So now you're friends with the whole family, and now I feel behind like double because, you now have this in. We've been hearing and learning a lot about Manny's family. And the more we learn, the more we like his parents.
My parents are, of course, close with EJ and his brother.
I know.
Yeah, but there's a lot of connections going. Then again, your mom is super popular around here, though.
That's true. Her baked goods really they win over everybody.
Yeah, no,
Meanwhile,
she's in good shape here.
PJ's in Atlanta. We asked the question, again, loosely based off of Manny's family. Would you rather have the combination of straight teeth but be overweight, or would you rather be skinny with crooked teeth? PJ, what do you have?
You got to go Steve Buscemi, who's a great actor, and his teeth are all jacked up. Or would you rather be Rex Ryan? His teeth are whiter than 1958 a Cadillac. Yeah, he's got white teeth. So who would you rather be? Would you rather be a great actor and probably half retired, or would you rather be Rex Ryan with his white teeth? Yeah. And I can't talk on the Mount Olympus. They told me not to, but I'll call in on Thursday. You can't put that out on a Monday and expect humans to wait that long. You just can't do it.
Our attention spans aren't long enough to do. Again, we're on Thursday. We're going to do the Mount Olympus of Mount Olympus.
You can't come back from vacation and then throw that card and expect humans to wait. Like, it's just not going to happen.
PJ, I totally understand.
How about give us your Mount Olympus of Mount Olympus?
No. You can't. No, PJ can't do it now because then you'll buy it.
No, I'll be on a plane. I'll be on a plane Thursday, so I'm gonna throw out 4 real quick. You can put them. Save it in a PDF or something.
Okay, go.
Yeah, Daley Thompson, who's a decathlete. Jim Thorpe. No, just athletes like that play other sports that were really good.
Oh, so I see the angle. You're going for like cross athleticism.
There we go.
Okay.
Yep, I love it.
No, I'm going athletes.
Yep,
like
just
for kids.
Pure
you
athlete.
play baseball, you play football, you play basketball. I'm going to go Jackie Robinson.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go Bo Jackson. And if you can beat those 4, God bless you. Have a great day.
VJ, thank you. And safe travels. Okay, so a couple things. First, the teeth thing. Would you rather be overweight with straight teeth, as PJ said, Rex Ryan, or would you rather be skinny, but with crooked teeth? PJ said Steve Buscemi. It's good to put people to that. Rex's teeth, are those his teeth or are those fake teeth?
I think those are veneers.
Yeah, because they're like really white and really too big for his mouth.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. No further comment.
Which is saying something because he's got a huge mouth.
Oh.
I don't see. Tough.
Are you doing the teeth or the Daley Thompson thing? Because that's ridiculous.
Is the decathlete, he said, and Jim Thorpe, and then Jackie Robinson and Bo Jackson.
I have both, so I don't know what's worse.
No.
I just think to say that Daley Thompson's a better athlete than Michael Jordan. I mean, totally understand. PJ's logic is sound. I'm not saying that, but just because, like, why not go with formerly Bruce Jenner or whatever?
Well, I just don't know. Also, do you not have a boxer? Like,
well, no, I mean, you can't. He's not doing anybody who can only do one sport. So it's all multiple sport guys.
Right. No,
And by the way, was Jackie Robinson never developed in the other sports because he quit them all to play baseball?
Yeah, but he was like a 4-sport athlete at UCLA,
yeah,
wasn't
but
he?
so were a million guys.
I mean, what about like Shohei then? Is Shohei the greatest? The Mount Olympus of Mount Olympus?
I'll bet you PJ, and he'll call back, would consider Shohei. I mean, Travis Hunter, I guess it's only one sport.
About Deion.
You could
Deion
do
played 2 sports.
That's true.
Well, he did Bo Jackson.
But
I think Bo Jackson's a little better than Deion at 2 sports.
Well, yeah, but is Deion better at the 2 sports than whoever the decathlete was, John Daly?
For me, I'm not. Maybe
It's not John Daly.
Yeah, like
John Daly's not making this list.
Decathlon's been sort of de-emphasized over the years. So I feel like nobody. Do you know who the current decathlete gold medal winner is?
No clue.
No,
remember there was. Or Dan and Dan, those guys. Remember them?
Dan and Dave.
Yeah, Dan and Dave. They were decathletes, right?
Something like that. They had this huge Nike campaign centered around them for 1992, and then but one of them failed to qualify. It blew up the whole campaign.
Oh, right. That was ill-timed. So those are great choices. Listen, PJ brings it with these Mount Olympus choices.
Are you going to do something similar though, where he's obviously doing athletes, just the best pure athletics?
No, I mean I'm looking at.
Are you looking at winners? How are you going to do your 4 sports
I'm
gods?
gonna be like
period?
you and look at coaches. I'm thinking Dr. Jack
Liar.
Ramsey,
Liar,
Raleigh Massimino.
You put Chuck Daly on there.
Yeah, I mean,
And Nick Sirianni.
No, I'm putting
Larry Brown.
4 all-time athletes. I think where I disagree with that list is I think that some of these guys, if they had tried 2 sports, could have been good enough to do 2 sports. Like
Battle of
LeBron
the
probably
Bulge.
could have played NFL football, for example, just to throw that kind of thing out there. He just didn't.
Yeah, but
Tony Gonzalez.
there's a lot of room between could have and did, and
Yeah.
would have been an all-timer.
But I'm saying, in my opinion, Daley Thompson is not a better athlete than LeBron James.
How about Jimmy Graham?
But, I mean, should he be considered? Because he's doing all 10 disciplines.
There's 4 spots. Daley Thompson is not going to be considered by anyone except PJ in Atlanta.
It wasn't John Daly?
Kyler Murray, top 5 pick in both sports.
Couldn't Kyler Murray.
Russell
Oh.
Wilson.
Maggie's rolling down the highway, feeling kinda rough. Last night's dinner, fighting back, oh man, it's getting tough. She grips her wheel, but it's too late, oh no, here it comes. Her Yeti ain't just holding water, now it's holding chunks. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Yeti bottle's gone too far. Her toothbrush ain't gonna make it through. Perloff's calling hazmat, man, it's true. She stumbles into the studio, trying to play it cool. Perloff takes one whiff and screams, this ain't in my job rules. He's climbing on the desk, he's spraying Lysol in the air. Says I need a full decontamination, get me out of here. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Yeti bottles, a biohazard scar. Toothbrush soaked in bleach all night. Perloff's in a hazmat suit and fright. Eladio, he still ain't here. Probably at home, drinking a beer. WM's in a toxic state, but he's still on vacation, must be fate. Swear she's feeling fine, says come on, let's do the show. Perloff shakes his head, says nah, I think I gotta go. The janitor quits, the boss is pissed, the whole place smells like doom. All cause Maggie's road trip snack made an exit too soon. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Perloff's running way too far. The Lottie's ghosting work again. Just another day on Maggie and Perloff.
Daly was waiting by that glowing screen, hope the night shift crown would go to the king. Ship held it down night after night, with fire in his voice and truth in his mic. But the news came in like a cold hard slap. Pat Boyle's got it, felt like a trap. No shade on the kid, but let's be real, Shepherd earned a late night deal. Now Shepherd ain't sleeping and Daly's in tears. The Shepherd maniac's been loyal for years. We stayed up late, we rode every wave, but they gave it to Pat and dug Ship's grave. So we howled the moon and cursed at the sky, asking one question, why, oh why, oh why? Meanwhile, Bellotti still don't show up for work. No call, no text, just gone with a smirk. Yet ship clocked in through the thick and the thin. Rain or shine, he'd always check in. Infinity, you broke our trust. We wanted chef and that's a must. You picked up oil, but we needed flame. Now the overnights just won't be the same. Yeah, chef, it ain't sleeping, we're twisted with rage. You skipped the vet for the new kid on stage. From the Bronx to the burbs, we're standing tall. Chef, a maniacs, answer every call. So crank up the static, let the record show. There's only one man for that late night blow. Pat's got the slot, but it don't feel right. Cause chef, it ain't sleeping, not tonight. It ain't sleeping. Twisted.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're good.
Oh, Globe Lights. Maggie, you didn't tell me there's a roof.
There's a roof. Maggie and
You're good.
Perloff.
Oh, Globe Lights. Maggie, you didn't tell me there's a roof.
There's a roof.
You're good. Who will be the breakout star from college football this season? Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Feels so good to be back. So much happened when I was on vacation last week, but we're looking ahead to college football because it's going to be here before we know it.
Yep.
And we know some of the teams that have high expectations. Obviously, Arch Manning in Texas, Drew Aller, Penn State, Ohio State is the reigning champs. Notre Dame back on the map in such a huge way. But we are looking for the one big breakout star.
Okay. So I started on the NFL with Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm going in a sort of a different direction. NFL, you can't do quarterback because we all know the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
But-
we did NFL breakout stars back in the 7 o'clock hour where you picked Marvin Harrison Jr. and I picked Roma Dunze.
Okay. I am going to go college football, and I'm stealing some of this from NFL Draft Podcasts. But there's a quarterback who is at your Cal Bears last year, Fernando Mendoza, who is now at Indiana with Kurt Signetti, who made Curtis Rourke a thing last year, obviously made the 12-team football playoff. Mendoza, I guess, is really, really in the eye of the NFL teams. They love him as a possible first-rounder. So I went to the odds on the Heisman. They're way higher than I thought. I thought I was going to make a lot of money off this one. He's between 50 and 75 to 1 for Heisman. So there is a lot of hype because we saw what Kurt Signetti's system can do in Indiana. And apparently Cal ruined this guy. Like, it was all Cal's fault that his numbers were not big last year. So I am going to go back on the Indiana Hoosiers bandwagon. It's not just a Fernando Mendoza bandwagon. I feel like they could be a thing again because he was way underutilized at Cal. And in that offense, it could put up big numbers and be competitive in a Big Ten. I know Indiana's schedule was super light last year, but I feel like this is a combo. The coach and the quarterback seem like the real deal. So that's my breakout star.
Okay, I love it as a breakout star. I'm looking now at the Indiana Hoosiers schedule for the upcoming season because obviously we know it was an all-time season, but this is like all teams in the Big Ten. You're going to get lucky years, you're going to get unlucky years. So their non-conference is nothing. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State.
Ooh.
What?
That's easy. You look over Kennesaw State at your own.
Watch out for the Owls.
No,
Okay.
I'm totally joking.
Oh, wait a minute. Do you know something I don't know?
Wait, are they called the Owls?
And watch out for the Owls. You're talking
No, totally made that up.
You
I'm
made
sorry.
me nervous for a second.
CFP,
I mean, I know Larry.
my video game.
Indiana State, I know Larry Bird went there, but that's about all I know. The Sycamores, yeah.
Okay, then they face Illinois, who is supposed to be a really good team this
Fighting
year.
Illini.
We're not going to do that with everyone. Then Iowa, then they're at Iowa, at Oregon.
I don't like the stats we're putting up at Illinois, Iowa to start. I like at Oregon. Okay.
Home Michigan State, home UCLA, at Maryland, at Penn State, home Wisconsin, at Purdue. It's tougher than last year, but you avoid Ohio State, you're avoiding Michigan.
Well, for breakout star though, I don't think you need to go 9-2. I mean, you can make a lot of noise. For example, Travis Hunter won the Heisman and they were 9-4.
That's true. But he was doing something unprecedented. Not unprecedented, but something so
absolutely
unique.
But I mean, Ashton Genty was there, and they only lost to Oregon, really. So yeah, I just think that quarterback, if you had, Cam Ward was definitely a breakout last year, and they didn't win at the highest level.
That's true.
They were close. So I think you can be a star And I think the NFL interest helps. You know what I'm saying? Like for college guys, it's a combo factor. It's not just how good you are in college. It's also if the NFL is eyeing you, that sort of adds to your stardom.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up somebody who the NFL is definitely going to be eyeing, but they're going to have to wait another year because he was a freshman last year, so only going into second season. And while everyone is watching Texas and looking at Arch Manning, I think it's going to be Colin Simmons that is going to end up being that guy. It's going to be the Arch show. I get it, Arch and Sark and all that offense, but you're talking about an edge rusher who last year did have 9 sacks, so it's not like nobody knows about him, but becoming in the mix for like the number 1 overall pick, I think we get in 2 years. I think we get a big Colin Simmons step up this year, and then it only continues after that.
I mean, there's pretty big shadow there, though.
Because of Arch?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's gonna. You say it's gonna be Arch show, but and I just think it's gonna be hard to keep your eyes off Arch. He's going to eat up all the oxygen.
I know, but
I hear what you're saying.
Arch can't be the breakout star because he's already a star, and we're going to be tracking every move that he makes. I think it's going to be like, wow, they have Arch and the defense, and it's going to be Colin Simmons who's going to become that household name.
Well, but let me ask you this, though. Household name, like how many people in that position become household names?
Edge rushers?
Yeah, like in college.
Will Anderson? I mean...
Well, I don't know if Will Anderson was a household name.
Everyone from Georgia?
Like, are those guys household? Not really. I mean, like stars.
Clowney?
Yeah, that's one guy because he killed a Michigan kid.
But
if you think he's going to be Jadeveon Clowney.
Well, I think he's going to be that good. So, yes, I think he's going to rise to the level of being that much of a factor. Lots of guys like Aiden Hutchinson wasn't a household name when he was playing at Michigan. Yes, he was.
You're talking about, I mean, you're putting a lot on this kid.
We're doing breakout stars.
Even Aiden Hutchinson was not a household name, not like a Heisman. I mean, actually, he was high up in the Heisman. But I'd say the two or three of my lifetime that I remember as pure defensive household names: Jadeveon Clowney for sure, the number one. I would say Ndamukong Suh. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't think Will Anderson was a household name. I mean, not like Jadeveon Clowney.
I think that he was. We knew about Will Anderson forever. It felt like.
I feel like it was like Jadeveon Clowney was next level famous, and Ndamukong Suh was next level famous. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree on Will Anderson. And Will Anderson too he didn't get a Heisman vote or anything like that, did he?
But you're just asking me if a defensive player can't be a breakout star.
No,
that's
just
not true.
Yeah, I just think your caveat to start with.
Abdul Carter? What about any of the?
Abdul Carter's a good one, yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean, they didn't have.
I could keep going from.
But they didn't
back
have
to the
Arch Manning at quarterback. That's why, like your original point, that it's not about whether defensive stars can be. I think it's harder as a defensive player for sure, but you're not going to break out and get all the attention when Arch is on the other side, which is what you started that with, and I'm having trouble getting over that.
So we're doing who's going to be the breakout stars of college football this upcoming season. And I think the Arch factor actually helps in a certain way because there's going to be not that there's not eyes on Texas, but I think even casual fans, because of Arch Manning's last name and because of all the hype around him, may be even more likely to tune into a Texas game. Again, they don't need any help getting eyeballs, but when you have that high profile of a quarterback, well, now all of a sudden people are watching those games maybe a little bit more closely and, who's this beast on the defense who's terrorizing, John Mateer, that from Oklahoma, that's now going to be more of a thing. Like the rising tide lifts all the boats, so to speak. Arch's fame helps everybody.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. It's just so funny. Like, I don't think of when I think of Texas. Yeah, I feel like it should be, I think of Vince Young, and I feel like it should be Big 12 kind of offensive. I don't remember like really falling in love with Texas defensive players. It feels like a funny one. No, I like it.
9 sacks as a freshman. I mean, I think that he's a candidate. Now, I had another candidate for you.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell if he really fell under the category of breakout star for college football. And it's Nicholas Singleton, the running back from Penn State. Now, he was a 1,000-yard rusher last year, but there's something about Penn State running backs that get a lot of attention. And if he's going to be the featured back this year splitting the backfield, then...
He will be splitting the backfield.
Oh, well...
100%. It's going to be totally 50-50.
Will it be 50-50?
Uh-huh. Well, I just watched a long debate. It was Greg McElroy about who is going to be the bigger star, Singleton or Allen. And I mean, it's first of all, it's splitting the backfield, but that sounds negative. It's not negative. It's like, watch out for these two dudes. They're both awesome.
Well, last year they were,
It's like Ronnie Brown and Cadillac Williams at Auburn.
We should ask my dad about his take of the two running backs. It cost him $200,000.
I'm surprised he didn't mention this when you guys were all watching soccer together.
And I don't even really mean that as a denigration of Singleton. Like, can they both be superstars? Can you actually take the whole Penn State backfield?
Well, you just mentioned Cadillac. I mean, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can be, Reggie Bush and Lendell White. Not that, Reggie Bush was winning the Heisman, but Lendell White was right there.
Well, I also think my counter would be, Drew Aller could take a lot of that energy too.
Definitely. I just think there is attention always on Penn State running backs.
I would say Duke quarterback Darian Mensah, too, who is famously got $8 million in NIL. Whether that was really happened, he's a big possible breakout. There's a lot of quarterbacks. John Mateer, you mentioned, there are a lot of quarterbacks that the NFL likes that I feel like Sam Levitt, of course. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the 5 to 15 range that could be a Cam Ward. I feel like there's another Cam Ward coming. That's who I want to see. So I look more at the quarterback position.
So I couldn't tell. I thought about Sam Levitt. We're doing breakout stars for college football. And I can't tell if you took your team to the college football playoff last year as a quarterback, could you really be a breakout candidate?
Well, Cam Scatterbo got so much of the attention for that I think he could qualify. Not totally, but... Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's good. Are they going to be as good without Scatterbo, too? And how good is Sam Levitt is a great question.
I'm glad you brought up the Big 12. I'm going to ask you for this on the fly, Andrew. Can we please have the Daily Deion music bed, please?
Daily. Do you believe that?
Deion.
You believe that?
Nicely done. I asked for that on the fly. That's not an easy thing just to create out of thin air. Pearl, did you hear the news about what Deion is planning to do at the Big 12 meetings?
No.
Yeah. So Big 12 media days are getting underway this week. And Deion has decided that he reportedly is going to bring both quarterbacks to media day.
Okay,
do you believe that?
Caden Salter and Juju Lewis are both going to be,
Caden Salter and Julian Lewis are both going to be there. That is not normal for media day. Usually you don't bring both of your quarterbacks. Generally, you bring the one guy who's going to be the starter, and then you bring, your other stars. So two quarterbacks for Colorado. That's who Deion's bringing to Colorado media days.
Are we thinking that could imply they will platoon them like Chris Leak, Tim Tebow style? Or what are we going to do here?
Well, I think that's the point. I think they're trying to drum up a lot of interest here, and the quarterback situation in college is the easiest way to do it. And I think it's trying to, not that Deion needs help getting eyeballs. He can make news out of nothing. But I think this is a lot of questions and something that really puts Colorado right in the spotlight.
Yeah, as always. I mean, Deion alone puts them in the spotlight. We had Quincy Avery, the football quarterback trainer, who trains a lot of NFL guys on last week. And he was talking about, he kind of criticized Deion. He's like, we'll see what Deion's commitment is now that Shador's not there. That's the big question. So he has two quarterbacks. He's never not had Shador.
Yeah,
so
and Travis.
But really the quarterback is really interesting. Because is Lewis, who is the number one recruit, going to be his new Shador? Is he going to be like a father figure to him and mentor him? And does that mean he's going to give him the nod over Caden Salter, who he convinced to come there? It's going to be really interesting. Quincy was dubious that Deion is going to really have the same passion when it's not his son, which I think is a really interesting question. And I don't know if bringing both of them proves anything one way or the other, but I am dying to see how this works.
Okay, so I saw actually that Quincy said that when I was away because you guys made news there, and that went a little bit viral. Here's the one thing about that. Are we going to be able to tell if he's, mailing it in? I don't understand. How are we going to know this?
I'll tell you how we'll know. Because he'll leave.
Well, that's after the year, though.
But I think we'll get a sense, how's it going with this quarterback decision? It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think bringing both guys is sort of setting up a controversy,
Well, and this is why Deion is undefeated when it comes to getting media attention. But so Caden Salter is a redshirt senior.
Yeah.
Where Julian Lewis is a freshman.
And I think he reclassified. I would double check that. So he's a young freshman.
So
He may or may not have reclassified.
How is that even a competition?
because, well, Julian Lewis he's a sort of Trevor Lawrence type. I mean,
That's fine, but
yeah.
wouldn't you always give the nod at least in camp? Like, wouldn't it be that Salter has the job and maybe Lewis comes in and steals it, but that the older guy would sort of start off with the lead?
I
I want
mean,
y'all to get ready to go ahead and jump in the portal.
okay, let me say that Julian Lewis was Shedeur Sanders. Who do you think would be starting?
Well, that's very, very, very different. And to be fair, I mean, Shedeur did do 2 seasons at Jackson State.
Right.
He came into the Big 12, but was seasoned.
Well, I don't think Caden Salter, who was at Liberty, is a no-brainer, like, have to start this guy kind of guy. I mean,
I don't know.
Julian Lewis there's sometimes we're the number one recruit. Like, you were surprised Arch Manning hasn't gotten on the field yet.
Yeah, he started, 2 games?
I mean, I'm not sure that Lewis is quite Arch Manning, but he's certainly not that far off. So it's not uncommon for true freshmen to start. We saw Dylan Raiola start immediately.
Yeah, again, family connection, right?
Well, he would have started anywhere, right? He was a lot. Yeah, I think he was. And listen, yeah, usually the number one overall recruit plays. Like, it used to never be a question. Arch is throwing that on its head.
Yeah, that's true. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. But also, wouldn't you just redshirt the person?
Do you really redshirt the number one overall? I don't know if it's that obvious. I know Justin Fields, I guess, redshirted. If you're Colorado, again.
Arch didn't get in the first year. He got in last year.
Yeah, no, but did Arch, I guess, technically did redshirt then. But I think he played a little bit, didn't he? Didn't he see action at the end of the year? Didn't he play a game or two?
No, last year he started 2 games.
No, I know, but didn't he get
that first
on
year?
the field?
I don't think so.
He didn't take a snap?
Because when Quinn Ewers got hurt, it was oh gosh, who was the backup now? I'm not remembering. He was the one who got into the games. The one who ended up the guy
Malik Murphy.
Yes, Malik Murphy. Thank you.
So he played 2 games as a freshman. Arch. He
appeared in.
That's what I'm saying. At least he saw the field.
And then redshirted. No.
He probably redshirted, but he's not relevant, right? Like, Arch is not staying 5 years.
Oh God, no.
So the redshirt is a bit the technicality. You know what I mean? I'm like, he didn't need that redshirt because he's not staying the whole time.
Although with this day and age and with the money that guys are getting, I don't know if there's a different calculus there, but not for someone like Arch.
But you are right, though. Deion has set up a attention-grabbing situation. Yeah, Julian Lewis has not turned 18 yet.
Wow. So Deion's bringing both quarterbacks to the Big 12 media days. That's where this whole thing started. Interesting. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Do you think that Deion is going to have the same passion for coaching if it's not his son and Travis Hunter on the field?
And also, too, this team is, once again, interesting. Are they going to take a major step back without Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders? I would think yes. Those guys are great.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we also thought that Shedeur was going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah.
I don't know. What we saw with our eyes was him being a good quarterback in college, and then that's why his drop in the draft was so shocking.
What if Colorado got better without Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter? Would that be the biggest surprise?
Yes, it would be. It would be the biggest surprise.
But he has built the lines out a lot, though.
I'm sure he's gotten better at picking who he wants out of the portal.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Deion is a great coach, like X's and O's wise. I don't know if we have the evidence that he's a great X's and O's coach.
Wow.
I'm sure he's a terrific motivator, and he's obviously got he was a phenomenal player. But is he a great X's and O's coach? I haven't seen a lot.
Is that as big a deal in college football where you can out recruit other people?
Fair question.
I got the win total at 6.5. That ain't too exciting.
No. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, lots more to do. That's our breakout stars for college football. Perloff, you went with?
Fernando Mendoza.
And I'm going with Colin Simmons, edge rusher from Texas. We also have a question out there. Do you think Deion will be as dialed in without Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter now on his team? And the M&P 500. Whose stock is up? Whose stock is down after a big weekend? We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
All right, ready? This is it.
You're good.
Oh, Globe Lights. Maggie, you didn't tell me there's a roof.
Woke up feeling 10 feet tall. Birthday boy, yeah, he's got it all. Put on his crown, it's a special day. Hit up Jay like, bro, we're on our way. Out in Nashville, music in the air. Boots on the ground, confetti in his hair. But where they headed, not a country show. Dave and Buster, baby, time to go. Now it's Maddie's birthday, running up the sound. Jay's got token shots going round. Gilligan's girls just crashed the floor. Ginger's dancing, Marianne wants more. He wants an aliens winning the night. Ski-ball king and neon light. It's wild, it's weird, it's totally right. Neddy's birthday bash, all damn night. Ned.
Remember Bubba Brazel, I grew out of wrestling. I was 12 or 13, I stopped watching TV. I moved out of the house, we sold the TV. I think I went to school and watched less wrestling. Bob Custer in Nevada. 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 Do you remember him, or are you too young? I don't know where he is, but I don't care. He had curly hair, he always wore a tie. He always wore a tie, I don't know why. Bob Custer in Nevada. Bob Custer in Nevada. Bob Custer in Nevada. Bob Custer in Nevada. Do you remember him? Or
Headline from when I was away on vacation. Largest shoes ever found.
Congrats, Maggie.
2,000-year-old shoes. And I got nothing on the text thread. I was like, oh, wait till this comes through. 3, 2, 1, Maggie, they found your shoes.
Wait.
This and that.
When'd you send this?
I don't understand what the heck you're talking about.
There was a
the largest shoes were found.
it was like an archaeological dig.
Was it a clown?
Like 2,000-year-old shoes, and they're massive. And I was just like waiting for you guys to send this to me because you make fun of me all the time because my feet are so big.
Enormous.
And yeah, they're gigantic.
Well, you're making it sound like this was front page news, like the big beautiful bill pass, and like you're like, I can't believe you guys didn't send that to me. What are you talking about?
Hold on, I'll find the article for you. But it maybe because my phone is listening to me, it got all over my timeline.
It was all over your timeline?
It was actually an Instagram ad.
No, you're in the club. They know.
Did you guys see this headline?
No, of course not. I'm on the same message boards as her.
I'm not on the same
Wiki feed.
I don't know what kind of algorithm, some Ronald McDonald algorithm that she's in.
I thought people were small back in the day, too, by the way.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. How do you know somebody wore them?
Unusually large is
there we go.
How they, unusually large 2,000-year-old shoes unearthed at a Roman site in northern England. A stash of unusually large 2,000-year-old shoes dug up at a Roman site in northern England has left archaeologists searching for an explanation.
Maybe it's your relatives.
Maggie's feet.
Ancient relatives, Maggie.
I didn't even know I had relatives in England.
I think they found your relatives in raptors and T-Rexes out there.
One measured 13 inches long, which is equivalent to the size 15 in the U.S. So there you go. I'm so happy. I'm just going to get in front of this because I knew once you guys got a hold of this story, it's going to be curtains for me. So.
Must have been Shaquille O'Neal's descendants.
That's stock up or stock down?
Stock up on me that I got
up
to the story way before you guys did.
Oh, okay. Or stock up on ancient history. I wasn't sure who had to stock up.
Yeah.
Stock up on England.
Stock up on the ancient Shaquille O'Neal there. Okay. I'll do my stock up. I have to. Obvious. We have not talked about VJ Edgecombe enough on today's show. That's the number one thing.
I was thinking about that.
28 points. Okay. So all my friends think this guy's the next Michael Jordan. I will tell you, 28 points in Summer League is whatever. He took 27 shots. He was 1 for 7 for 3. That guy can jump out of the building.
Yes.
He can jump out of the building. And I'm not doing this as my stock down, but Ace Bailey on the other side looked like a far inferior prospect. So the Sixers did not take Ace Bailey. There were all sorts of drama behind Ace Bailey falling, but they took VJ Edgecombe. I think everybody breathed a big sigh of relief in Philadelphia because VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor looks like the right choice at number 3 overall for the Sixers.
Smash cut to Ace Bailey getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. There's only one way this can go now.
And VJ drunk in the parking lot.
You can watch Ace Bailey for 5 minutes. He ain't 6'11", first of all. I know that EJ thinks this is stupid, but he was supposed to be a Kevin Durant comp. What? That guy people thought was Kevin Durant? I don't understand it at all.
Let's just also point out that Perloff was very down on the VJ Edgecombe until...
I still kind of am. I mean, dude cannot shoot.
He shot 27, took 27 shots?
Yeah, he took 27 shots. Most the ones that went in were dunks. But can you be a 6'5" dunker in today's NBA and not be a great shooter yet? That's the big question. But anyway, it's a pretty exciting night. I mean, the Sixers, by all the podcasts about team building and analytics, the best way to do it is to win the lottery.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
Which the Sixers did not do.
Yeah.
Well, they came in number 3, and they had no right to be that high. Like, they got super lucky.
Earth-shattering
stuff. So I think they did have a right to be that high.
Although plenty of great teams that were built not through top picks, like the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, plenty.
They had Chet Holmgren, who was taken second, but Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was not in the top 10.
Yeah.
And neither was Jalen Williams.
You ever heard of a guy named LeBron James? That was a ping pong ball. You ever heard of Tim Duncan? Ping pong ball. Shaq, ping pong ball.
I mean, LeBron James, 2003. Tim Duncan, 1997. Shaquille O'Neal, 1992. It's been a while.
Also, even
Cooper
LeBron,
Flag.
Doesn't think the ping pong balls were like on the level.
I'm not.
He was
by the way, I'm
drafted.
playing right into your guys' conspiracy theories.
I know.
How did LeBron win his Last title, Anthony Davis, number 1 overall pick. Not for the team.
Not for the team
Not
that
for the
picked
team
him.
that drafted him.
And in fact, he had executed and orchestrated a really
Pelicans.
messy way out of
Well,
town.
it is. You have to admit the Sixers lucked into getting this guy.
Surely the
It
Pelicans.
should not have been. They were supposed to be 7 or 8.
He's not a thing yet.
Surely the Pelicans didn't mess up their next first overall pick, right?
Oh.
Zion.
Yeah.
He may have had a hand in that. Okay, if the stock goes up, that means the stock has got to go down. And I know it's been a pretty good tournament, but I got to go stock down on Wimbledon for a couple reasons. One,
Oh, no. You stole mine, I think.
the no lines judges. Did you see the story? Bogish, I'm sure you were all over this.
Did I see it? I happened to be watching live on Sunday morning, it was, when this whole thing happened.
Yeah, crazy
Oh,
controversy.
wait. Are you talking about the bad call or are you talking about something else?
I'm talking about the bad. Well, I'm talking about Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. Close enough.
Yeah.
Who it turns out, so there's no line judges now at Wimbledon. They're doing only
Electronic.
Electronic. Thank you.
With
And
human voices yelling in and out. Tapes. Weirdly.
get ready because this is what's coming to Major League Baseball at some point.
Ouch.
But I think. But so it's only the electronic, and apparently the electronic line judge system went down for an entire game. And
Oh,
so
that's not
one ball that landed like 5 feet out.
No, it was 3 inches at most.
Oh.
Yeah.
Clearly out.
I mean, in real time, it was real close. Like, they weren't sure, yeah.
Not called out.
Yeah, the system was down.
Yeah, the system was down.
Yeah.
So that's a problem when you're relying on electronic line judges, and you're supposed to have the chair umpire there to kind of like overrule any bad calls or missed calls. But the chair umpire didn't catch this either. So they replayed the point, and it was a game point.
A do-over, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the woman who, this Pavlyuchenkova, ends up losing that game, but she ended up winning the match. So I guess all's well that ends well, but that could have been a very pivotal game for her. If she had lost and then lost the match, this would have been a much, much bigger deal, but it's still a huge deal.
Yeah, and I guess I was reading they scrapped the replay review procedure because the judge saw that something went wrong, and he paused for about 5 minutes. They should have just gone to the tape and said that was out.
Exactly.
And just rewarded the point. Instead, they did a total do-over. It was awkward. It took forever to figure out. She was going to win the match. She was clearly the better player over the British player.
But you never know, because she's also alleging that the British player got preferential treatment
Sure.
because she was the home. It was like the home favorite.
Yeah, the funny thing, too, the British player was 5'3", and when she served, she basically had to hit it uphill. It was really funny. Maggie, you would have destroyed this British player.
Yeah, I always like playing inshore players.
Yeah, I don't understand how she was, and she was really good. But anyway, that was my stock down, too. I couldn't believe that. What's going on here? So is this happening to baseball, Maggie?
So the thing about baseball is they're going to get the electronic balls and strikes at some point.
But what if there's a glitch and it goes out or it's wrong?
Well, there's always
That's not my fault.
You're always going to have an ump back there.
Right,
though.
so is that ump going to actually have to watch every pitch as if he's calling it just in case the system goes down like this did?
Yeah, because I think what they're gonna use some version of what they have in the minors, where the ump makes a call and then the pitcher or the batter can challenge it.
Right.
That's what's happening?
Yeah.
Oof.
But you only get a certain amount of challenges, and you have to decide: is it the right time in the game to be challenging it? Are you a big enough star to be challenging?
Did not know that.
Yeah.
So they're not going to go full robot ump.
That's not the plan now, no.
Why not just go full robot ump?
We'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah, give it time.
And
Okay, so
the system goes down, it's going to be. I can't wait.
Well, I want to know now, like, what is Plan B if they do have like a catastrophic electric line calling failure?
Oh, like
are there
human eyes,
final
right?
or
yeah, like are there
final?
humans somewhere ready to run out and be lines people again?
Maybe the big judge has to call the whole game.
But he or she can't see everything. They need people on the lines.
Just get 4 or 5 of the drunkest British people you can find. That
won't be
That'll
difficult.
be fine.
I just can't believe in general. I was at the working at the U.S. Open when Hawkeye first got there. That was the initial thing, and
The
being
superhero?
given a tour of like their command center and how it was going to work. Everyone would be like, "This is ridiculous." And then it became the norm in
best
tennis.
thing, yeah.
I went to every other sport, and now it's like the thing.
Jeez, when was that? The 1920 old U.S.
Nah,
Open?
like 2003.
You guys see? Okay, do you have another stock up or stock down?
I do, but do you want to go ahead?
Well,
you didn't give a stock down.
Oh, okay, I'm going to go stock up. Did you guys see Andrew Garfield and Monica Barbaro, who is the woman from the
Yes.
Dylan movie?
Yeah.
Oh my God, is that a cute couple? Can I just say?
That's a cute one.
She's
You can have
stunning.
Garfield.
She
She's
might be the most
beautiful.
beautiful woman in the world right now, except for my wife.
Good
Nicely
save.
done.
that
Nicely
too.
done.
Well done. Sir.
Yeah, that was another big start. And if she wants to come down and call the lines, I'm down with that.
It's funny. I didn't know the Lions judges were wearing bathing suits these days. It's so weird. It's
Good
Andrew
for-
Perloff
good
of
for Superman.
fantasy.
You have a lot of sports fantasies too. You want to play golf with Janet Gretzky. You want this girl to call in or out on your serves.
All right, this is we're a morning show, and this is
go on a
Sports
regular
Radio.
date.
Like she's not even like that, like sexy or attractive. She's just gorgeous to look at, right? Like she's like a work of art, and not like I think there are like a lot of women that Manny would be more interested in.
Like who?
Like trashy women, you know.
Wait, what happened to Manny's relationship? Is that still going on? Your situation?
No.
And did you talk about that with his dad when you happened to be sitting there at the soccer match?
Are you kidding me?
I would have.
I would have totally brought it up.
100%.
Probably after 2 beers.
You don't tell your parents about some random hookup that happened 8 hours out of town.
It's not. I don't think it's random.
When I released that breath of air, it was random.
What made you think it wasn't random?
Because she texted him and he was all excited about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was all excited about
You
it.
were excited. You were sending her songs and everything.
That's
It was-
not true.
Yes,
That's
it
not
is.
true. She sent
You made
me
a
songs.
mixtape?
She sent me songs.
Yeah.
No. There was a
cassette.
playlist. There was a cassette that was played at the lake house, and I was like, these are good vibes. And I just asked her about the playlist. That's all that it was. And then she sent me the playlist. That's how people flirt.
Did she
in
get
2025.
outside? Did she come outside your apartment and hold up a boombox, like say anything?
He doesn't know that reference. He's too young.
Which
Way
one?
too young.
Boombox or say anything?
Yep.
John Cusack.
I just
anything.
found that little
The fact that he
Walkman
went
is-
along with cassette
Peter
tape and
Gabriel,
just sort
no,
of
nothing.
Yeah. I have a stock that I'm not sure if this stock is going up or down because we haven't gotten a resolution on the story yet. I just want to put it all
Wait,
in
you're
your
not
radar.
talking about the last story.
Oh, no. Sorry, I'm over that.
That's stock down.
I'm kind of bummed about that. Manny's mystery girl. I thought there really could have been something there.
Despite the 8-hour differential between the two, we could have figured it out.
No more train rides to Buffalo.
Yeah.
God, no.
Take a covered wagon and get there faster.
Probably.
Anyway, did you guys happen to see this at the Pittsburgh Steelers game? I'm sorry, Pittsburgh Pirates game. Pittsburgh Pirates. Somebody had written on the Jumbotron or whatever the version is in Pittsburgh. Did you happen to see this?
No, I did. What?
Glanced at it.
I want to make sure I get the absolute right.
Get it verbatim.
Oh, man, I had it right here.
Because some of this, you can rent out some sayings onto the scoreboard and whatnot. And there was this one fan in Pittsburgh who I believe was trying to make an apology.
Yes, he was. Oh, here it is. I got it.
And
It says, Cheryl, please take me back. I'm sorry I kissed your sister. Tim.
Get out of here.
It's right here. Look. There it is.
I mean,
Cheryl, take me back. Please take me back. I'm sorry I kissed your sister, Tim.
I believe
Guys,
this
gotcha.
happened, but there's no way. This is some kind of inside joke, right? He's not really trying to get back with Cheryl.
I don't know. It sounds like Tim made a bad mistake while he was a little inebriated.
Once you kiss a sister, it's over.
Well,
you would imagine.
But it might take a really big gesture.
Like
You were just
renting
talking
out the
about
scoreboard at
John-
PNC Park.
Yeah, you just said John Cusack with the boombox. I mean, these ultimate gestures of romance. Now, listen.
There's no gesture big enough.
What if-
None whatsoever.
But what if Cheryl loves the Pirates? She's got a McCutcheon jersey,
Yeah.
a Skeens jersey, and she's at the game and has
Roberto
always.
Clemente.
Yeah. And this is like her. Now, the message is not great, but she wanted her name on the board there. And there it is.
You're right, because women, there's nothing, Maggie, you can speak for women. There's nothing women like more than romantic gestures at sporting events, right? That's like where I assume that's where your husband popped the question.
I'd rather get an apology at one than a proposal.
Just that apology, though, Maggie? That apology?
I don't have a sister, so it's okay.
Now the whole world knows that Cheryl's sister is
Loose.
problematic. Oh, God.
Listen, there's a lot of fault here.
Yes.
But we're just trying to repatch it. And again, I don't know if this is stock up or stock down because we don't know if Cheryl took him back.
I know. She did not.
To
If
be
she
honest,
did,
she should run. This is not a good guy.
Oh, you think?
What about her sister?
Her sister is also
Well,
a bad
What if
person.
he ended up with the sister?
Ooh, that's tough. But see, this is almost like it's like that's family dynamics. Like, what about the sister? Let Cheryl and her sister hash that out. The guy's bad news, clearly.
Right.
So,
I just.
Cheryl,
listen,
don't take him back.
Guys stink. I get that. But
Yeah.
let's not let the sister off the hook because this is a 50-50 kiss. I'm assuming.
Equal rights.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Y'all get equal blame too. All right.
It goes both
Hashtag
ways.
feminism.
Hashtag.
You're right, Manny.
Hashtag ally.
Screw the patriarch. Why didn't I think of that? This
She
is a
could have
win-
said no too.
a win for feminism. Folks, what do you got?
U.S. men's soccer did not lose the Gold Cup final to Mexico last night in Houston without a little bit of controversy. When the match was still 1-1, just over 20 minutes left to play, Mexican defender Luis Sanchez put his hand on the ball as he fell to the turf. This happened inside the Mexican box, so a handball would have given the U.S. a penalty kick, but no call was made because Manny will explain.
Well, yeah, I mean, what had happened was Luis Sanchez basically just tried to break his fall, and it just happened that the ball rolled into his plane where he was going to land. So, incidental contact. It's incidental contact. The ball found the hand. So, I mean, that's always been the rule in soccer. If the ball finds the hand, it is not a handball.
How do you do this? Now, U.S. coach Mauricio Pochettino does not accept Manny's explanation or the non-call in the game last night.
Okay, all the excuses now, but that was penalty, or maybe 2-1 for us, and maybe we were celebrating the trophy.
Oh, come on, man. And not in CONCACAF, not in England, not in Argentina. Is that a handball, man? Come on, Mauricio Pochettino. Come on.
And the guys on TV said it wasn't either last night. The guys on Fox.
What about the offside? Explain that to me like I don't understand
The
soccer.
Edson Alvarez goal that was the side official, the one with the flag, thought that Edson Alvarez was ahead of the final defender.
I thought he was too.
He was not. No, that it's the leg that you have to look out for. The leg of the last American defender was keeping the Mexican player onside.
Oh, it's the
And
whole
that's
body.
reviewable.
It's kind of like when the quarterback runs over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's
They
kind of
obviously reviewed it because they reversed the call. Yeah.
Yeah, it's where the foot is and where the kind of the center of the body and the foot is for the other player. It's offside is very difficult to explain to a non fan.
I tried on social media last night. I didn't understand what they were talking
It's
about.
honestly, it's rather easier when you take a look at the VAR because once the VAR shot came out, the VAR shot came out. You could there's the line from the American foot. They superimposed the line to show basically, we'll call it like the line of scrimmage, where had the Mexican player, his toe had been past that line, it would have been offside, but that wasn't the case.
Wow.
What a disgrace.
Yeah, well.
So they get away with handballs and offsides. That's what I'm hearing about
because
Mexico.
again, he wasn't offside, and again,
It was
the
basically a
handball wasn't
home game
handball.
for Mexico,
Yeah.
so it was really our fault we
Basically,
didn't show
yeah.
up. The U.S.
That game-winning goal came about 11 minutes after the debatable handball. Mexico wins its 10th Gold Cup 2-1 over the U.S.
Edson Alvarez with the winner.
Clayton Kershaw gifted one more All-Star game by Rob Manfred, the commissioner, using his legend pick on the Dodgers lefty on the heels of his 3,000th career strikeout.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Me neither.
I thought Kershaw seemed maybe a little embarrassed by this because he didn't want to talk about it after the game.
I took that as like let the guys who were picked regularly like celebrate for now. I don't know if he was embarrassed by it or like he didn't want to like steal anybody's thunder as he was like given a spot.
But
as
by the
opposed
way,
to
also,
earning it.
does that mean that he has to retire after this year? Because he got the
yeah, that
he's
is
37.
They did that with Miguel Cabrera, I think,
And
right?
Pujols.
And Pujols. In this, but no, but that wasn't the same game. I feel like Cabrera and somebody else. There was one in each league that were like on their way out, and they both got a spot in that same game. But it has happened kind of before. But we knew Cabrera was retiring. We don't know Kershaw's future plans.
Yeah, that'd be awkward, right?
Like, what if he plays and is awesome next year, and he just in the All-Star game, like, naturally, after being a honorary selection this year?
Right, because he's not.
That'd be
By the way,
weird.
he's not that bad right now, is he?
Well, this is what I'm saying. He didn't want to talk to the media after, so maybe it was because he didn't want to, take away the shine of the other 5 guys from the Dodgers who actually got elected, or he's feeling weird about it.
I would think that if there would have been a way for him to like decline it if he really had a problem with it. I don't think they would have just like dropped it on his lap like, "Hey, dude, you're in the All-Star game now." I feel like that there's a discussion involved in that.
Think they would have called him beforehand or something?
Or like made sure like because he's coming back from being hurt, like checking that he even wants to go. Maybe the Dodgers don't want him to go. Maybe he's not done playing and he
maybe he wants a little extended vacation.
Right.
Does this trigger like a bonus?
Mm-hmm.
Like an all-star
that
bonus?
guy's got more money. He could live to 2,000, never spend his
Yeah, but
money.
I mean,
What about his 2,000-year-old shoes? Are they unusually
That's
large?
where I got that number.
Yeah.
By Kershaw had he's had some good games this year too. He's not like he's part of this thing. It feels weird to call him a legend. It's like when Maggie does that when we interview people, she says a legend, and everyone's like,
Perloff is convinced that if I call someone a legend or an icon, they immediately tune out on the interview.
No, they don't. But they're like they want to be not considered a legend. A legend is actually, in this case too, it's a bit of a pejorative term. It's like saying you're not really a factor, Clayton. We have to gift you this.
Can you put that on the poll? Is a legend an insult? Calling someone a legend an insult? A backhanded compliment? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, it's like Clayton Kershaw. Like I think he's taking this like, oh, you mean I'm out to pasture?
Right, like somebody's still playing, you call him a legend. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so if you're, I think that's exactly what's happening here. He doesn't want to be considered a legend. He's 37, and they've been kind of pushing him out there in L.A. for a while, but I don't know. It's definitely weird. Did you know about this legend exception? I never heard of this at all.
Yeah, with Cabrera.
Cabrera,
which I think might have been the
back
first
in the
time
day. The old guys used to get voted in for the last year. So
it was Cabrera and Pujols in 22.
Were they the same year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ever before that at any time?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think it's the first. He's created this and invoked it.
Did Cal Ripken get voted in when he hit that home run in Seattle?
Cal Ripken and then A-Rod, moved to third so that he could play short.
But how did he get on the team to begin with, Cal? I don't remember that.
I don't know. 888-710-4ISN. Bogush, thank you so much. Okay, lots more to do, including what the Browns quarterback room has to say, what the Browns legends, I'll call them legends, the veterans have to say about the quarterback room. That's what I'm trying to say. It's Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Report from Mary Kay Cabot, Pearl, that the veterans on the team for Cleveland prefer Joe Flacco to be the starting quarterback. At least that's some people like Myles Garrett and others who didn't. Myles Garrett was one that was named, but we didn't get any other actual names on the record.
Yeah, of course they do. Is there any doubt about this? What are the choices? If you're a veteran, do you want two rookies or an unproven veteran who's already on his third team in 4 years? Of course it's Joe Flacco. Is there any doubt about that?
Okay, but this is why that could be a little misguided, because Joe Flacco is in his 40s, and as I've maintained this whole time, I think Joe Flacco should be the closer who comes in to the end of the season. This is honestly what you want, you know? Either let Kenny Pickett or whoever else could win. Maybe it's Shedeur Sanders, maybe it's Dylan Gabriel. I have no idea, but I would let Kenny Pickett take the early part of the season and then bring Joe Flacco in literally the way it worked out for them 2 years ago with Deshaun Watson getting hurt. Joe Flacco comes off the couch and guides the Browns to a playoff game.
Is that's a thing, a plan? Like, first of all, the Browns have a brutal schedule to start out. Like, if Kenny Pickett's not good, he's going to run them straight into the ground.
No, the season's so long now, you're never out of it. Look at the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, they get off to these really bad starts and they find themselves in the hunt every year at the end.
The first 6 games for the Browns: Cincinnati in Cleveland, at Baltimore, Green Bay, at Detroit, Minnesota, at Pittsburgh, then Miami, New England Jets, a little easier, then Baltimore. I mean, this is like what Joe Flacco's going to come in and they're 2-6. What's the point of even playing? Then you go to the rookies. Then Flacco misses his window.
See, I would do it the opposite way in a 17-game schedule. And I don't want Joe Flacco getting hurt because he probably is my best chance to make the playoffs. And I'd be worried about those early games if you have this pass rush coming, at least from Baltimore. I don't know what Cincinnati's defense is going to look like. Green Bay's not going to be a picnic. Who else do you have? Minnesota? Good luck.
Yeah, Minnesota's defense should be good. But Joe Flacco, I don't feel like he's 40, he's injury prone. Like he's going to get off the couch and hurt his back. Like what? Joe Flacco is, I mean, I think first of all, this idea that pocket quarterbacks get hurt more is just not true. Eli couldn't move at all, and he never got hurt.
Well, but Eli wasn't playing at 42.
I don't think Joe Flacco's any different now than he ever was. I think, first of all, he's gigantic. I don't think Joe Flacco is a big injury risk. I mean, more so than Kenny Pickett. What's Joe Flacco? Joe Flacco's like hurt. He's first of all, he's not running around. Just gently grab him and bear hug him down on the ground.
I don't know.
What's Joe Flacco's injury concern?
Well, what was Aaron Rodgers' injury concern before all of a sudden he's got a popped Achilles and it's a huge deal?
Aaron makes a mistake of moving his feet too much. Also, Joe Flacco's so big. He's got size 400. He's got old shoes they found in the last segment.
The 2,000-year-old unusually large shoes we talked about in the last segment. No, they're not mine, in case you were wondering. Big Friendly is in California. Big Friendly, what's up, dude?
Good morning, Maggie Malone and the crew. Since I don't got much time, I would be remiss if I couldn't get back at Kaplan and Manny for the disrespect they showed me.
What?
So I wrote a poem about it. Okay, I explained it to Manny.
Oh, wait.
Last time I called,
Yeah.
when you were introducing me from the opposite coast, Manny pulled his New York Yankee hat down and was tapping the NY. He shot a bow. He made a shot across my bow. I have to return one. And Kaplan shot one across my bow when he told me facts don't matter.
Wait a minute, Friendly. We got to leave it there.
Yeah,
on a
you got to call
cliffhanger.
back.
Can you call us tomorrow?
I'll call back tomorrow. I will call you tomorrow. I got you.
Biggest cliffhanger we've ever had in the history of the show.
That's a tease.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what I did. I don't recall.
Can we do the next hour? Would anyone mind?
I would like to go home.
Thank you, Manny Rodriguez filling in. Andrew Carpacci. Thank you, Andrew Kaplan. Andrew Bogusch.
You're in a 5-minute break.